shakalaka. That's what we say.
Is
Hello.
that what was?
Welcome to the night edition. That sounds a little risque. How
I
should
know.
we
No.
say
Well,
that?
if
Because
you
we're
say,
not, it's a family show.
if you have to say that, you have to say, "Welcome to the night edition." Oh wait, and then
Nah, that
you
just
have to
sounded
put like
Vincent
that,
Peale like, Fletcher.
like,
Oh no,
"Hey,
please don't do that. Oh
what's
my
up, y'all?
gosh. Oh no.
DJ
Oh
Fletcher in the
no,
house,
please stop.
letting you know
No, no, no,
that the
no.
birds are in town."
No, no, please don't. Oh no. Okay, so I'm gonna sign off here, everybody. It was nice seeing you. Oh, good grief.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's
I
what
know the
happens.
kids are not up, but still.
Yeah,
It's the
it
late
happens.
night show with the indignant desert birds with Ursula and Fletcher, or Fletcher and Ursula, however you want to think about it.
And we're back with another show. And hopefully you guys are hanging out with us late in the evening. We kind of wanted to do this a little bit earlier. We didn't get a chance. So sorry for those that were expecting early show today.
No,
Uh,
no, we sometimes do late. This is
yeah.
normal for us. We sometimes do late. The late night edition. Birds on the wire fly with us at night.
Yeah.
Bats at night.
Oh, we're back tonight.
I'm going to work on that some more. This is okay. It's okay. Listen, this gives us more time to reflect on the stories, on the state of the world, etc., etc. So it's all good.
No, that is true. And we've been going a little crazy, but yeah, what?
Hoo-hoo! Sir Glenn is with us
Sir
tonight.
Glenn is with us? I
Whoa, this
thought
is
you would
past
be
his
asleep by now,
bedtime.
Sir Glenn.
Heck yeah.
Uh,
I know, we're supposed to stream at 11. What
I know,
happened,
right? What
Fletcher?
happened?
We're doing the
No, it
11
was
at night. The 12
yeah,
hour later.
yeah,
12 hours later.
it's
Yeah.
actually we're early, right?
Okay.
Hey,
That's how
you
I think
know,
about things too,
if you want
Fletch.
to,
That's
if
how
you
I,
want
yeah,
to,
that's right.
you know. Oh my gosh. Uh, so Father in heaven, pray for our brother David Glenn that he would receive a blessing and
Oh,
a healing
yes.
from you.
Yes, Lord
Saint
Jesus.
Saint Archmichael, defend us, carry
In
us in battle.
battle, yes.
Amen.
We pray for
And
Saint
yeah,
Raphael to intercede too for this fever. Pray,
yeah.
Lord God, the fever would break in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Pray
Amen.
all the healing angels to hang around Sir Glenn. Pray for the stripes of Jesus to go upon him now, and no, he probably doesn't have hot flashes. Although
Oh
you
yeah.
never
You
know.
never know. You
You
never
never
know.
know.
Who knows what it's? I mean,
There's all kinds of things.
there were some hot flashes on on this whole election cycle.
This
I
whole
mean,
election cycle was one hot flash. It was just nuts.
it just seems to be
But
one.
aren't we kind of, grateful though how it turned out?
Yes, very much so. I
We're in
mean,
the half that's kind of grateful. The other half is still all, gnashing of teeth and wailing in the
right?
darkness and being bitter and having meltdowns.
I
They're still
know. I
having
mean,
meltdowns, Fletcher. I think that's not
it
over.
is, and I
It's
don't know
not
what
as rich as 2016, but they're pretty good.
they are. It does seem like they have like that bit of a je ne sais crazy, right?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
low energy crazy.
it's low energy crazy. Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
a little low energy. It
So
was
I
high
guess there's the
energy
movement, right?
2016. This is the
Yeah,
movement. Yeah, the
this is the
4B.
movement.
So the last time we talked about this, Fletcher, I didn't know that it had a term. We talked about these women finally getting some common sense about how they would interact with the opposite sex so that they do not need to delete their unborn children 9 months later. And we didn't know at the time, Fletcher, it's called the 4B movement. So apparently it's taken from a movement that's happening in South Korea, where
Hmm.
some women have, I think, adopted their own kind of sort of feminist movement over there, post feminist, I guess, at this time. in which they basically say they don't hang out with men, they don't date men, they don't have
Yeah,
relations with men, etc. And it's like
and it's
four
based on
things.
right, and
Yeah.
it's based on the everything costing so much, right?
Oh, is that
And
what it is? Okay.
yeah, suppose such demands given unto women and things that are costing too much, how they expect to have a family or something. I mean, there's a whole lot of trolling with this movement. Because I guess at least so far, all the people that have been doing it are kind of like
That
just
is so
saying.
mean, Fletcher.
I'm not
That
saying that
is
that's what it
so
is.
mean. For those who cannot see the screen, because go back to it. No, no, don't be shamed now.
You told me I own it.
You got to own it now. So, for those who can't see our screen, what Fletcher has indecorously displayed is a picture of Jabba the Hutt. You have to know that character from Star Wars, wearing some eyeliner and some black lipstick. And it's not an
It's a
attractive picture, saying,
purple.
I'm
It's
on a
purple lip.
strike of, giving the goodies up to the
Yeah,
guys. I'm on a strike.
I'm on a
And I get
strike.
it. They're saying the ladies who are involved with this movement, they don't always seem to be like the lookers sometimes. Like
Yeah,
this young woman here. I mean, I bet she'd be cute if she didn't have her hair half shaved and wearing, I think too much eye makeup and having that intense frown on her face.
right. I
Sir Glenn
mean,
is
it.
right. It might be mean, but it is funny. No, it is funny. I agree. It's funny. It's funny. Listen, a
Yeah,
lot of these girls, Fletcher, no offense, they would be really. Here's the thing, no one tries that much anymore. You see these young girls around here that, the baggy jeans, the, thick sweatshirts, or they in, ubiquitous yoga pants. I'm like, I'm tired of
yeah.
seeing
Those
those on
yoga
people.
pants.
They're
Yeah,
not attractive on most girls don't look good in them. You have to have an almost perfect body to wear those things. I mean, if you're going to the gym, if you're at the gym, fine, you're there to work out, but you wear them everywhere, in the street, at school, at the supermarket, at the hospital, wherever you may be. It's like, oh, come on, nobody needs to see all of that. But I think if you think about it, like our grandparents, even our parents, actually, Fletcher, actually, our parents, look at the pictures of our parents, like in the 70s, 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, our grandparents and parents. When they were young, they looked so cute when they went out, cute little plaid outfits that went together, things that
yeah. They
really,
put themselves together.
yeah, that looks like they really knew how to adorn the female form, so that they were, even a girl who may not have the best features knew how to look good. Like she had feminine wiles, right? She
Right,
had
to
like cute little
accentuate.
outfits. She didn't show how, but to accentuate, pretty hair, smell nice, not have an angry expression on your face all the time. And so now you're mad about it's like things are not working out that well, but it's like we've lost a lot of that, kind of traditional culture that people would probably say this is hate speech right now. I can't even say this, right? I'm not supposed to say that.
No, no,
You
no.
you ladies should look a little nicer. But I
It's
guess they're shaving their heads because they don't want to be hot, and they want to, object to the so-called patriarchy
right.
because
So
Trump.
let's watch some of these ladies. Part of
Howdy,
the whole
Lady
thing is.
Jen. Lady Jen's with us now too.
Oh, hey, Lady Jen. So it's hola, hola, big hugs. Uh, yes, some of this stuff, it's kind of nutty. So this from Bride leftist women shave their heads in protest victory. They're tired of being hot. That's what the patriarchy wants. So they're done with being
Tired of
hot
being
and
hot.
tired of being
Can I
hot.
just, can I just, I mean, not to interrupt, and I know we talked about this. I can't just comment on every single line of a story, but what is this concept of hot? I love it in The Office when Angela says, why do people say hot? Hot is a temperature. What happened to pretty, attractive, alluring, mystifying, bewitching? I mean, what about any other phrase? Why is it like hot? I mean, that's just, it's like we're down to
Easy
the
to
bare
spell.
bones. Easy to spell. Okay, that's why. Easy
I
to
mean, try
spell.
spelling alluring now. They're not doing the best in the public
Charming. It used to be
space.
a charming young woman. Now it's hot. hot.
Yeah.
It's like everything now is just down to the base denominator, just bare animal instincts. Oh, they're hot. Like I want to, like their temperature is raised for the act. It's like, come
Well, everything
on,
is sexualized, everything's like,
everything.
and this is a funny thing because people are like, you have the memes like "hoes be mad" or like Trump actually bringing purity back. They ran the whole thing about abortion rights, and now they're doing what the conservatives want them to do, which is stop, being promiscuous. So it's almost like it's the best promiscuous movement ever. Thank you,
Well,
Libs.
anti-promiscuous movement, I guess.
This morning feeling spicy. You guys feel spicy? Because I do. All right.
She's scaring me
I
right
don't know
now.
how to use this thing. Let's see what
What
happens.
the heck is she doing?
It's cutting off hair.
She's just cutting off her
I have to
hair.
cut it shorter than that. Does it?
What is she doing?
She's cutting off her hair.
It's getting hair.
She's just literally cutting off her hair. I mean, this is what it is. It's like, because this is gonna, really.
This is insane.
This is gonna own the
Fletcher.
chuds.
First of all, I'm not okay. Now I'm going to sound mean, like what what Sir Glenn said. It was mean, but funny. She can't really afford to be messing with the features that she has that are nice. This what I'm sorry. She can't afford this now. I don't know what she's doing.
Hold up. Wait.
Oh, okay. So Sir Glenn explains here in the chat. Thank you. He says Paris Hilton is who popularized that term hot. That's where we got it. Oh, she would say it's hot.
Yeah,
so
that is true. I remember that.
Another rich
hot.
elite.
That's hot.
Yeah. Okay. Another rich elite airhead, demeaning the culture, bringing the culture down. So now it's become ubiquitous.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time.
Yeah. No, they've gotten a lot of slack, Jan. Thank you for mentioning that. From there's little girls and cancer patients, people who have passed away from cancer.
So because people may not be able to see Jen's comment. Yeah, Jen makes the great comment. One of our wonderful supporters says that I don't get shaving your head in protest, especially when they look like jerks towards both women cancer patients and women with alopecia. So cancer patients, they typically do lose their hair, usually from chemotherapy when they're getting treated against cancer. And people with alopecia, it's a serious condition that causes the hair to fall out, the follicles to fall out and not grow back. And it's not usually curable. It's nothing you can really do about it. So it's really sad. You're right. It's kind of like, what are you doing? You're cutting off your hair. You look like jerks. I think she's right, because it's not sensitive to that. What is it supposed to accomplish anyway? I guess they're saying, oh, we're going to make ourselves unattractive to men. But again, your attractiveness is not just that. But anyway, you were saying about the 4B movement?
Yeah, so if you see here, this is what I guess they were talking about in the 4D movement, starting a career, which is no marriage, no childbirth, no dating men, no sex with men. Hey, it's abstinence. So they're basically now, if they just add a seclusion or give it, doing good deeds and going to church, they're nuns.
Then they're nuns. Yeah.
Great. This is like reverse whole
it.
that whole reverse what was it, the Handmaid's Tale? I have no clue. But no,
that's so funny. Isn't there a Greek play like this, Fletcher? Isn't it called like Lysistrata or something, where we have to find this out for next time, where the women get rid of the men and protest them? I think it is.
Yes, this whole
so this goes way. It's already foolish, but at least it has some classical roots.
It does, but I guess part of this whole thing that is kind of weird is that you're basically saying this is all you're worth, right? Is that all you have? Is the sex the only thing? It feels kind of empty, I guess, in a sense. I mean, this is like whole thing. It's kind of crazy. Just women shaving their heads.
And of course they have to do it on camera.
But this is another thing.
You can't just go to a barber shop or hair salon. You have to do it on camera.
Well, somebody also commented on this, because if they were any kind of charity within their hearts, they would donate this to cancer. Locks of Love, or an organization like that. All they have to do is go someplace. They actually do it for free. I think most salons, they tie your hair and they cut it off. When I had long hair, I had long hair down to my back, and then
I know you're very vain about your hair, Fletcher. For
oh
everybody
my
listening,
gosh, with the
Fletcher is
hair
very
thing.
vain about his
I am
hair.
not vain about
Oh, yes, he is.
I am
He
not.
is like touching his
Ugh,
hair. You think your hair is so awesome.
whatever.
Anyway, go on
So
to when you had hair
all you have
luscious
to
down
do,
your back like Fabio. And you would
I
come out the
can't.
shower like
Now you're
shaking it.
dating yourself with the 5-year reference. By the way,
Okay.
just saying.
Okay, that was a
But
mistake.
all they have to do is tie their hair and give it to like Locks of Love or any organization that donates the hair, right? But they're not doing that. They're just, shaving it off, just throwing it on the floor. I mean, there's no consideration for somebody that might want the hair or need the hair, right? They're just, oh, I'm just gonna throw it on the floor, throw it on the floor. And these people do this cast like I'm doing this as a form of protest.
It's insane.
It's like this is the only thing that we have left to control ourselves. And this chick
By the way,
does this
that
thing with
looks
this other.
scary. What is this we're looking at? This looks like some terrible performance art. Like we're in like the Lower East Side
This is
in
the
like
Lower East Side.
1990. This
I
is
mean,
scary. What is this? This
you know
person
what's
is
scary?
wearing.
What
What
the
are we
heck is
looking
in their
at?
closet? What the
That's
heck
scary.
is
I'm
that?
scared. What is this
No,
whole
this
thing
lady,
this is frightening. I don't know what they're doing, but you're so right, Fletcher.
it's
Actually,
just bad performance art.
this is bad performance art. This is
You
bad
know, it's
performance art. But you
and
know
no
what? I
consideration
agree
for
with
people
you.
who
I
need
think
it.
that their lack of love is evident because you're
Yeah,
right.
it
There are
kisses
so
it.
many organizations that really could use people with long hair or even medium length hair that you're willing to give up for people to make wigs and hair pieces for those who are undergoing chemotherapy, women, children, and like those again with conditions like such as alopecia and other kinds of conditions that may not be as extreme as those, but where they really do not have the ability to kind of grow their hair or keep their hair nice.
Well,
They
I'm
have to
glad you
cover
said
it.
that
Yeah.
because that's what happened. So they got called out.
In response to all the liberals who are shaving their heads to fight the patriarchy, I just want to make it clear that I have cancer. I'm not stupid.
And there you go.
Wow, that was powerful.
She shows her Trump is like, I have cancer. I'm not stupid. I'm not doing this kind of.
May God bless her too. Sir Glenn has a question, Fletcher.
Oh, okay. All right. What's the question? Here we go. You two married? Yes, we are. Yes, see.
We're gonna let
See,
everyone know that.
yeah, well, that's what we just did.
Just keep it between us.
Yeah, just between us. And I mean, I think it's you and Jen, so I think we're cool. Yeah, I always tell her that if she leaves, she's got to take me with her. So that's my thing. Jen says, also, this reminds me of saying cutting off your nose to spite your face, which has to do with Catholic guns, right?
I think it is cutting off your nose to spite your face. I remember
It is.
growing up hearing that expression. At first, I didn't get it, but it's true. It's like you're going to do something to hurt yourself to get no other benefit except that it's going to spite
None.
someone. Yeah. It does not.
Yeah.
It does not really make sense. And
Yeah.
you know what? It's honestly what they don't realize. It really is a sign usually of some kind of psychological disorder. I mean, in Greek literature and old kind of, stories, the person has lost their minds because then they cut off their hair. It's also
Yes.
a sign of penance in Catholic tradition. When you are, going through some kind of punishment that you're imposing because of your sins or because you need to make some kind of reparation, normally that's what people would do. They would cut off their
Right.
hair, go in sackcloth and ashes. But, they don't have repentance. For them, it's just performance. It's not that they're saying, look, I have done wrong. I have been sleeping around. I have not treated my body with respect. I have deleted my children or thought about it. I have been with people I really shouldn't have been with. They're not saying, okay, I'm going to change my ways. That's it. This is a wake up call. They're saying, I'm going to spite I'm going to spite myself in front of you and try to make you feel bad. It's not anything introspective. That's why it's all on camera.
Yeah, and it does. It's kind of like bad performance art. You know what I mean? You have this whole wanting to listen to me, look at me, look at me. That's not at all charitable, and that's kind of like the sad part, because you're basically saying, hey, I'm just gonna do this because I want to give my piece, which is, there could be nothing wrong with that. You want
I
to
mean,
give
it's certainly
yourself.
funny. I do think that it could have been, it could have been done. I think, as you and Lady Jen said, I think it definitely could have been done a little more productively, like giving that hair, to someone. I understand in India every year that there are people who will cut off all their hair in a kind of, not protest, but in a
Mhm.
spiritual devotion. They go to a shrine or something, and then they do donate the hair to people, again, who have problems growing their hair or have an illness. I don't know if you have you heard of that, Fletcher. It's something like that.
I
I heard it's
have,
in parts of
yeah.
India.
It's
I
yeah.
saw some
So
documentary a part of it that every year, that not every year, maybe once every few years or something, these very lovely girls will, they go there, they pray, they put on, like, basically, like, yeah, like sackcloth and ashes. It's meant to be kind of a penance, a kind of
yeah,
introspection, kind of starting over, stop being superficial. But they do donate their hair. They do it for people, again, who need it. It's not just about making a big show of it. It's not like
a
that.
show for yourself. That's only
Yeah.
concentrated on yourself and all stuff. And
Yeah.
it's the funny thing is that an actress director, Justine Bateman, has taken to X, since we were talking about performative art and things like that. She's a director. She's an actor. She's the I think sister of Jason Bateman, which is
I think
another
I
famous star.
remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I remember
yeah,
her.
so what she's been doing is she's been taking all this, meltdown things, and she's been giving critical advice under the hashtag social media video critique. Well,
You're
she'll
kidding
act.
me. Oh,
No,
I
no,
love
no,
it.
no. This is great. You will. I know you will love this.
I love
So,
it.
so let's take this video for example, right? She looks at my temporary pronouns are try me. Liberals are getting angry and crazy. The days progress. So.
I have no sympathy for you. If you voted for the party of leopards that said they were going to eat your face, you cannot get angry or upset or come cry to me when they eat your fucking face.
Excuse me for the language.
Ouch.
I do want to get one of those bleeper things.
You.
Well, you should do the bleep, Fletch.
Bleep.
I might have a little bit of pent-up aggression. My temporary pronouns are try me.
We're so scared.
Do it. I'd be very excited.
Oh, so this is what Justine says to that video. Hashtag social media video critique. This is a fresh approach to the horror genre. The director has shot this in the style of a used car commercial, employing camera repositioning and performance tone changes. This is particularly evident with the cut just before do it. The script establishes the word of this piece well with the repeated face-eating references. The script also successfully instilled the viewer that the protagonist is unstable with the mock self-examination line, I might have a little bit of pent-up aggression. However, the actress is pushing the performance, particularly at the self-examination point. This is a common mistake when playing a psychopath character.
Oh.
A choice is to appear normal and trust that the lines betray that.
Okay, she's a genius. God bless her.
No,
That's hilarious.
She's done it for all this thing. It's
I
like
love it.
she's just roasting. It's like she has
She's
this
roasting
thing.
them. Mallory, yeah, her name was Mallory in some show. What was the
Yeah.
show, though?
What was the show?
What was the show?
Oh, what was the show?
Oh, I can't remember. Family Ties. Family Ties, maybe.
Is it Family Ties? I don't know.
Maybe. Now we're dating all of us.
Oh, that's it. This
It
whole
goes way
show.
back.
Yeah.
We were infants at the time, though.
It's just
You saw it
it.
in replays.
I think it's just genius because it's you know
She really
you
does. Okay,
just
what did she think about that one? That was one of
okay
the
on
most
that one.
bizarre
So
ones.
what's happened is somebody added music to it. So
Family
this
ties.
is
That was right.
sorry. So
Whoa! Oh my gosh, that's great! Come on, do it again. Actually, I'm digging it. Play it again. That's awesome,
there's just
though.
some more of this stuff. All she does is just scroll, and she has like the one that we played. She said this one has a number of issues. Primarily, the main objective of the piece is to shave the head. However, this never plays out properly, and we're instead distracted by the actress' inability to perform the direction.
Oh,
uh, this is yeah. It's I think it's pretty genius.
it is genius. Good
It's
for
very
her.
well
Okay,
done.
wait.
Yeah.
Do we have an applause thing for like Justine Bateman? We
Well, we
always knew
just
she was
say,
good. Mallory, here, we'll just do it. Here we go.
yeah, there you go. And
Great. That's a good troll.
she
Doing
gets
critiques of their video
one of
performances.
these
Boom. Roasted.
because she does roast them.
You like that too
It,
much, but yeah,
I
okay.
I do like that too much. I'm sorry. Uh, one of the great victories that we had. I mean, you remember when we said we're gonna get sick and tired of winning? We're gonna be
Oh
winning
my
so much.
gosh,
We're
yes.
gonna be sick and tired of winning.
Yes.
There's gonna be so much winning. It's gonna be big. You're gonna get sick and tired of winning.
I do miss when Trump said that. Those were good times. I like when he just say, "You're gonna be tired
He's
of
gonna
winning.
probably
You're
keep
gonna get.
saying
I'm so tired of winning. I hate winning. I'm so tired of winning. There is winning right here. Yes, I remember this case, Fletcher.
Yeah, so
This
this is
dear
a woman.
Yeah, you want to tell us?
Yeah, so a
You
woman was
remember?
jailed for
Yeah.
opening her saloon during the zombie apocalypse, and basically, a lot of people that we know also had to close down shop during the zombie apocalypse. And it was funny because you know what? The other day we were going through a drive-through, and across the street is some weird building, and you're asking me, what is that? And I'm like, well, that's a liquor store. One of the places that was supposed to be available and open during the zombie apocalypse, but
Yeah,
our
it was
church
considered
was not.
essential. Yeah,
It was
see, because
essential, but our
liquor,
church wasn't.
because liquor stores, Home Depot, other places like that were essential,
Right.
but churches and schools were not, so
Right.
they had to remain
Of
closed.
course. Yeah, let's not go crazy.
Let's not go nuts.
So I guess this is Shelley Luther. She was jailed for a week after keeping her salon open despite the zombie apocalypse. Now she has secured an overwhelming victory in her race in the Texas House seat. So I guess she
I can't
won. She
believe this,
won
but
by
she ran
a
for
whopping
office.
77.7% of
That's
the vote.
amazing. I love that
And
number, by
Dallas,
the way.
yeah,
Triple
I mean,
sevens.
really, triple sevens.
She won.
So
that's unheard of. This
yeah,
woman, first, okay, let's just tell you what happened. I mean, you said what happened, but I want to emphasize it, Fletcher, because I remember reading about her. She has no criminal history.
mhm,
She was not being in any way disrespectful. What had happened was she has a salon in which she employs 3 or 4 other women, some of whom were single mamas. And what she said was, if I just close, they have no recourse. They're
right,
not on public assistance. There was not going to be a way for them to make their money. She said she could get by. She was the owner of the salon.
right.
But she said the reason she didn't close is she asked permission. She says, look, we do all of the techniques for the zombie apocalypse. We wear masks. We set the times aside so that people are not there with other people. We have them separated. We have it all worked out. Some people still want to look nice and get their hair done during the apocalypse. And that's great for us because these women need to work. And, they told her she could not. And she says, look, who's going to pay their bills, their mortgages, right?
Right.
I mean, there's not like anyone's going to help them. And what was, so she, continued to operate her business, which should not be illegal, and then literally explained her situation instead of getting a fine, which the judge could have done. The judge did not have to put her in jail. The judge could have said, you know what, ma'am, this is not acceptable. We have a zombie apocalypse, we're concerned. And maybe she would have decided that it wasn't worth it, although I doubt it, and maybe just paid the fine and kept open until, we all learned that, you know, the person who we won't mention who was behind a lot of the provisions for the zombie apocalypse, whose name begins with an F, and tortured beagles, by the way. That person said the 6-foot rule was made up. So a lot of these provisions didn't help to stop any spread of anything, but they put her in jail. Literally, they put her in jail. And yes, at that same time, I remember, as Lady Jen mentions, that Nancy Pelosi was getting her hair done because she got caught on camera going to a salon that she was able to have be open while she got her coloring done. She didn't let herself
Oh
look
yeah.
crazy during the apocalypse. She didn't let her roots start showing. But everybody else is supposed to walk around looking crazy, or in this lady's case, not be able to, take care of your overhead or your bills or
Yeah, take
whatever.
care of your employees because
Right.
that's like my thing.
And
And Sir
Sir
Glenn
Glenn
says
says,
this, I guess
yeah,
a lady was stuff. Yeah, she was
it's another
subordinate.
salon
Just look that
owner.
up. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I guess 12 millions because she lost her job after declining, to get a certain something.
Well, that might be another story, because what Sir Glenn's talking about is another salon owner who got a payout after being after suing because the state jailed her also for keeping her
Mm.
salon open. You know what? I'm really proud of this woman because she didn't just sit there fuming. She made a plan. She ran for office, and it was the right time because she got success, like unbelievable success. Like you said, 77.7% passing. I mean, that's how many people voted for her. She got almost 78% of the vote. I mean, that's beyond a landslide. I don't know what that's an avalanche.
No, it's insane. There's so
Good for
much.
her, because you
Yeah.
know what? That's how we win too. It's one thing it's good to complain, it's good to vote, it's good to do all those things. But I love it that it motivated her to get involved in her community, to represent people like herself. And by the way, we're all like her. All the regular human beings, the citizens of the world, unite against elites who would do. I mean, can you imagine? She told this judge, I remember that. I was not happy with that judge, because she looked him in the eye and said, look, how do you expect us to afford things? He should have been like, you know what, look the other way. They do that with some of the miscreants they get. They have people, looting, burning, stealing, and they look the other way or give them a fine, community service. But her, she had to be actually in jail. Are you serious? That's how you know the bad faith. Why would you put this lady with no criminal history in jail?
No, it's just crazy. And you it's you know what, they were just fueling their own fire. You know what I mean? They're just
Yeah.
building their own fire
Yeah.
because
They hate,
the
you know what? Ugly people hate people like her. Look how beautiful she is. She's happy. She's smiling. She has the cross. She has her business. She has a family. She
yeah.
is a wife and mother. They put this wife and mother who has a business and is not committing any crimes except made up ones, like the zombie apocalypse. You can't open your business. Although right down the street, I think she even mentioned that, were a whole bunch of businesses that had people in close proximity. But
Oh
she
yeah, yeah.
couldn't do it because,
Like
again,
like we said,
liquor
look
stores
at
are
the liquor
essential.
stores are essential.
Getting
But
your perm is not.
really
Okay.
good number on this when then he just appointed Bobby Kennedy Jr. as the health czar, and his
Oh, well, that is
thing was
exciting, actually.
make America healthy again, and people are losing their mind.
Are they losing their minds, Fletcher?
They're losing their minds for this,
Why though?
and
You would think
also
they would
because
like that. Why?
well, we had Miss Levine or Mister They Them Levine out there, and now we have a guy who's jacked, who's wants to live healthy and all this kind of stuff, but because certain things that certain people say they said, or things that they don't agree with, all kinds of stuff is happening. The big pharma companies stocks went down when this was announced, and now they're even more angry because of what he said here.
Since 2005, I spend 30 minutes praying every day when I get out of bed. And
That's amazing. People are so excited. I have so many people on my feed just loving that this guy just made it.
Yeah. He really does care about people's health. I think he does care about public health. Yeah.
Is this: I asked God for 19 years to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic and bring health back to our children.
How
Good.
how proper is that? How
is he
proper
going to take the filling out of Pop-Tarts though, Fletcher?
I think he's going to put some good filling in Pop-Tarts. That's
See,
that's all you need to know.
The
baby.
left loves to make fun. This is what doesn't make sense though, Fletcher. The left, I don't know what's going on with the left, because they were supposed to be the ones that were, counter the establishment. They should be the ones against big pharma. They should be the ones against, the companies that put all kinds of chemicals in children's cereal or what have you. But instead, they go against it. You have Kennedy saying, I'm against that, and other things we cannot say on this channel.
Right.
Because
they're
we get in
crazy.
trouble. And yet the left doesn't come into that.
It's just, they
don't want to. They don't stand for that.
any
They
of
don't stand for anything. They just stand. I think they are really just like rebels. Like whatever the people come up with that are not on their side, they just say no. They just don't.
Yeah.
So even Kennedy should be a good person for everybody. He's trying to make us all healthier, which they say they're for, but
we'll see.
To steer clear of politics, but this really isn't about politics, because this is somebody who has been, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has been pushing quackery, who has been pushing lies, who has been pushing conspiracy theories. You've been talking to experts in the health community, the medical community, preparing for him, RFK Jr., to be given some sort of role in health. What have they said to you?
Well, it's not often that the entire medical and public health community is going to be in lockstep on something, but they're pretty close on this.
And that doesn't worry anybody, right? That doesn't worry, like, they're all lockstep and stuff. They're competitors.
What the heck is that?
But they're all lockstep in this because
what could be good for the people that's lockstep in anything? Don't we want plurality of opinions, diversity of opinions? In the multiplicity of ideas, we'll find truth. What the heck? That sounds like collusion.
You would think so, but yeah, they keep going.
In terms of their significant concerns, horror even. Somebody said to me today, I can't think of any single individual who'd be more damaging to public health than RFK.
And dude's checked.
They have they have no right to say that. He actually has done a lot of work in this area. Definitely he can really make some strides in terms of some of the additives that are in our foods, our waters, and so forth that he's indicated.
And
certainly,
our Pop-Tarts.
And our Pop-Tarts.
Yes.
He can fix the Pop-Tarts.
It's going to turn Pop-Tarts
take the chemicals out the
Pop-Tarts,
turn them into toaster strudels.
What is
and
the difference
Monsanto? She's right. I'm not sure we can talk about Monsanto.
No, I don't. Yeah, well, we can.
You probably can't, but there are things that are problematic that are very much profit driven, that are not for the people and should maybe be looked at. And I love what Sir Glenn said. That's right. There is right now a crisis in science because there's corporate funded research and they are not motivated to publish something that goes against what doesn't fit the narrative. So it's really hard
that's
because
what
with science, And that's how we
Yeah.
saw with the zombie apocalypse too, because you have people saying trust the science, but science is a matter of inquiry. Science is not just a settled thing. There are some things that you kind of can, generalize about and know to be true. But at that time, and I think still to some extent now, Fletcher, it's like you can't go against the narrative. If you say something that, even this platform we're on right now doesn't like,
Yeah. I
one of
mean,
the two
last time we
platforms
said
we're on,
something, and that's where we're not going to say much about
and we
it.
can't even say it,
Right. But
and
it's safe to say that they don't like it, and if they don't like it, obviously it's something good.
and look, we're
And
being
another
told right now live by Sir Glenn, one of our best supporters, that word, the M word, wouldn't even show. He had to
yeah.
switch. So hopefully we won't get this video struck. I don't know, Fletcher. We might have
Yeah,
to.
if it does, go check it out on Rumble on the
Yeah,
green
check us
screen
out on
machine.
Rumble because of the green.
It's
Because
crazy. We just started.
but what does that
already.
tell you? What does that tell you? Yeah.
So
There's
it looks
truth
like
to it.
they're still while Trump's not in office, the mice are going to play. Polymarket predicted Trump's victory, and now the FBI has raided the CEO's home, which is interesting because I think Polymarket was predicting on Twitter or X, basically lockstep with what's actually happening. They were the most accurate. That and I think Rasmussen were the most accurate polls. And of course, ho ho ho! Wait a minute, when things didn't line up, then they
So this is a very
basically
curious
decided
story.
to come up and say,
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. I didn't know that Polymarket CEO may be on the left. I didn't know that. I know this is a very curious story, and I've heard just a little bit of people talking about it. It sounds like at least some people think this raid was politically motivated because of the timing and because it seems that a lot of the other predictive services or agencies or companies, they all said it was for Kamala, but this one was somewhat of an outlier in saying, predicting Trump's victory, and then very shortly afterwards gets raided. Now, the official story is that the FBI, I guess, believes that there was some improper betting going on, though there is online betting allowed, and I think even to allow for election results, people can bet on them, but I think you can't be, I don't think United States citizens can do it. I think they could have, or maybe not past a certain amount. And I think that maybe the online betting can exist, but, overseas people can. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank did come out and make a statement saying that he thought this was not necessarily a problem, that
right.
if they did something, perhaps not completely dotting I's and crossing T's, that is fair. I don't think we should just take people's word for it. To me, it sounds kind of fishy. And maybe time will tell what the real, purpose of this is, or if there is something wrong or not. But it does seem a little bit, I mean, there's no reason for us to trust the alphabet agencies. They haven't proven that trustworthy, especially lately. And, come on, we had law enforcement just go and hold people up for hours to take a squirrel and a raccoon. So,
Oh
a
my
rescue
gosh.
squirrel and a raccoon. So we're going to take your word for things because you stopped
And we
this guy,
just found out that
I mean, it wasn't the alphabet, but it's same law enforcement. That's the
yeah,
kind
it's
of,
Islam's. Yes,
it's where we are right
it's
now.
a
So,
4-letter agency instead of a 3-letter agency, right?
right. So,
But
yeah,
they
I
found
mean,
out that he didn't have. Peanut, poor Peanut, and Fred didn't have rabies.
no, they did. It was just like they got a search warrant to go through this CEO's phone and materials, and probably there's nothing there either. Justice for Peanut and Fred. I mean, they didn't have
Yeah.
rabies. They got killed. They got the death penalty without a trial.
Yeah.
And
It's just
they
more of
put
a
all these
garbage.
people through all this trauma, their parents, the people who kept him for 6, 7 years, without any problem.
Right. I mean, it's just crazy. Well, it's just more of this. What do they call it? Lawfare. You know.
Yes, yes.
So I mean, it just keeps on going. It looks like a Biden donor judge delays proceeding in lawfare case after Trump's landslide victory, and from my understanding, this lawfare thing is basically trying to use like the courts, right, to kind of go
Yeah, I
against your
think
opponents.
it's an interesting phrase and term of art now that you're hearing. Honestly, it's kind of new for me, but I've been hearing people use it instead of warfare, it's lawfare because they're using the law in a bad way, like taking people to court to basically just to torture, harass your political enemies. And we saw that with a lot of these cases against Trump, where it seems like, who cares about that? And that they're bringing this case, he's involved with litigation, like the person he apparently bribed, involving the adult actress and all these things. And you're like, really, this seems to be, you're just trying to get him. You're saying he
Right.
gave the wrong estimation on how much his property was worth in a real estate deal. I mean, all of these things seem very, very petty. And there's a lot of other more important cases that can be dealt with, both civil and criminal, but that's what they're doing to kind of get back at him.
Yeah.
And so that's the lawfare. And it seems that's why we're suspicious of the situation with the Polymarket CEO, because you're like, is this more of the same? It seems like if you don't like your opponents now, you don't like your political enemies, you now kind of find something. And I think, there was that raid on Mar-a-Lago of,
Oh yeah.
former President Trump's papers, all, kind of it just meant to harass him. And now it seems like, honestly, Fletcher, a lot of these cases are going away because, for example, the Department of Justice says they have a policy not to prosecute a sitting president. And since he will be, God willing, a sitting president in just a couple of months, they're going to let their cases go. Though I haven't heard that's true for all of the state cases, which don't have the same
Yeah.
rule. And I know some of them are just redoubling their effort. Or like in this case, the story you're showing us now, where the judge is going to delay it because they don't really have much to go on.
Yeah, and
And in the first place,
a lot of people think all that stuff should be dismissed.
yeah, I mean, honestly, it seems that the idea of some of these cases was to prevent, delay, or obstruct his path to the presidency again.
Right.
And it didn't work.
It
In
didn't
fact,
work.
I think it may have backfired. I think it may have helped.
I think people are, saying that it does, and it did backfire. But I think a lot of this stuff just needs to be done.
To be dismissed. The judge needs to be dismissed.
Yes.
Alvin Bragg needs to be dismissed. Why? Because we've got to say this is unacceptable.
Yes.
Where is the deterrence to stop this happening? Of course, you could say, well, Trump made the most of it and it backfired. That's because he's Trump and he went there every day and turned it to his advantage.
Yeah, and that's something to say because Trump's a marketeer extraordinaire. This election is going down in history as just an insane amount of marketing. I mean, he took him going to the courtroom. Boom! People were selling T-shirts of his mugshot. Where Harris said that she worked at McDonald's, she actually went to McDonald's and worked for a day.
I thought people were being, hyperbolic or like exaggerating when Trump had that mugshot. And some people said, you just won him the election. Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, right. I think that's true. I
No,
think
I
that won
think
him the
it's true.
election. People felt
Yeah.
like, are you serious? That's what you're doing to someone?
No,
And
it's
just
not.
because he's your political enemy, that's kind of like a banana republic. That's what those third world countries do. One dictator gets in, deposes the other one, and so then they put in jail everybody who was in the old administration. That's like so old school. That's not what America is supposed to be. We're supposed to be civilized.
No, and it's totally. I mean, that's the thing that they don't get. I mean, I think people were talking about this is it's like a rough neighborhood of town. People are going in the middle of the night.
But we're driving and we saw some down.
Look at what's in the hood. Woo! We the people. You like that? How do you feel about that?
That's clean.
That's clean? That's your boy?
I mean, the hood came out for Trump.
That's crazy. I love it. That's crazy. The hood came out for Trump. What I like about that, we all have these kind of stereotypes and we have these kind of narratives that are not embracing all the diversity and complexity of people, including the fact that here's a mural honoring Trump in the hood. And yet all you hear still from the mainstream media, from the academics, from all the pundits is how he's a racist, how he's for the elite, how he's horrible, he's a fascist, he's like the mustache man from Bavaria. And it's not just how a lot of people don't feel that way. It's
and I
just
agree
so
that
frustrating.
I mean, look how clean that thing is, and if to have a mural in the hood and have no graffiti on it,
that is true.
That tells you that the hood respects
that's true
and honors it.
That's
and that
true.
used to be for like hip hop artists, actors, rappers.
That is pretty cool.
And that's that's what you have now. You really have something that should be taken into account. And a lot of this lawfares, I think they should be, people are sharing memes about it.
Did that thing say trompitas?
James.
Did that say trompitas?
Trompitas is the new thing, man.
Is that like a nickname for Trump?
Yes, a little for people like follow Trump.
That's so funny, trompitas. Okay. What are we looking at here? What's that?
Well, I was setting up the joke,
so
saying
funny.
that this is what they should be worried about.
So Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Mark Elias, and all the other treasonous lawfare conspirators today. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because Letitia James, that's the one in New York, right? She's the Attorney General of New York.
It is the one that
she was like, we're going to continue it. We don't care if he's president. Are you serious? So let me get this straight. You're going to hijack the entire country for your case in New York when the entire country needs the president to be able to function so he can continue to fight your case. And if you find him guilty, put him in jail? And then what? That's so ridiculous.
It's just crazy. It is. But yes,
and I agree with
Peanut and Fred.
Justice for Peanut and Fred. And I agree with Lady Jen. It's true. In a way, it's like when something's about to die. She says the whole racism angle kind of reminds me metaphorically when something is about to die, that is when it screams the loudest. That's an excellent point, actually. That's true. Because the life is going out of something and it screams.
It's just and they can't do anything but decry more racism, and I do think that that it has no place. But people are gonna say it's insane, but they keep going on. You have people actually trying to reach out to John Hinckley Jr. And they've reached out so much to this man. And if you guys don't know, he's the one that tried to delete President Reagan,
right,
back
in the 80s. Yeah.
And people are trying to reach out to him now.
Well, we should be clear. We should be clear before you finish that, Fletcher. He almost succeeded in deleting Reagan.
Yes,
this wasn't just like a plan. He actually put Reagan in the hospital, hours of surgery, and he almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean it's just the mindset, right? The mindset is they're sending him requests.
They're sending him requests to try to delete Trump, and he's so, like you said, he's so upset about it. He has to take to social media to say, "Please stop sending me requests to delete Trump." So what happened with Hinckley is that he did get a kind of insanity defense.
Right. Yeah.
So he spent like 25 years inside of a facility. He didn't end up, I don't think, going to prison. I think he may have been in jail for his trial, but after that, they said he was sick. And then he was, I guess, considered healed and released. But now he's being targeted for people trying to hire him for, to delete for hire against Trump. Is that crazy?
That's just crazy. I mean, I mean, weren't we supposed to be the ones that were violent?
Yeah, I thought we were the ones who were violent. And these people are so, but you know what though? Honestly, Fletcher, the way the mainstream media has people ginned up, making it seem that Trump literally is the Bavarian mustache guy. They're up whipped into a frenzy. It makes
Mhm.
them kind of insane. I think they're really causing, widespread paranoia with people and widespread anxiety and feelings of being under attack that they would, you know what I mean? I mean, you have already fringe groups, but I think they have a lot of people. Look at these women like me cutting off their hair.
Right.
Why do you need to do that? He was president before. Nothing happened to you. What do you think is going to happen now? What is going to happen to you? It's not going to be anything. In fact, you know what? It'll probably be just fine.
Yeah,
So,
and they just keep going on and on. They don't want nothing that's gonna basically um keep him in office, and it's funny how our side is supposed to be known for violence supposedly, but their side are supposed to be the gracious side. What do they call it? The tolerant left, right? I
oh
mean,
yeah, yeah,
the
just tolerant.
bastion of tolerance would be colleges,
Oh yeah,
and you would
sure.
think in college you would have liberty and be able to have all kinds of
A diversity
discourse,
of
a
ideas, be able to
diversity of
talk about
ideas.
things.
Yeah, oh
Yeah, you
yeah,
would think so, but apparently
and
you can't have
highest,
it at Harvard
right,
because, and we'll have to tread lightly here too, but
right,
in the debate that kind of began October 7th last year, there are elements at Harvard. We saw this already. A president basically lost her job, Claudine Gay, over this issue because she didn't come down hard enough on one side. But since that time, there are a lot of students who have been wanting to protest Harvard's position. And they have taken to doing these very elegant and peaceful protests in the library where they sit there and study with a sticker or sign or like a
right,
table tent that says they're here in honor of one side of that debate, okay,
right,
from October 7th. And they were kicked out of the library. That was too much of a protest. So then they came back and said, the students said, well, fine, we're going to go there and just silently pray. And they get kicked out there too. They're not allowed to study. They're not allowed to pray silently now, not verbally. They were just quietly studying in the library, but because they were gathered studying, come on now, that's outrageous.
right.
That's
And the
this
funny
is just
thing
going to
is,
backfire on you.
is that one of the libraries that they were getting kicked out of is the theological library,
Oh my
and you're
gosh.
like, you can't pray at the theological library
And
of
silently praying.
silently prayer. Yeah,
Like
this is
like like Sir Glenn says, no, libraries are for twerking. If they went in there twerking, they'd be okay.
that'd be okay. Yeah,
They could
if it's
you could go twerk,
yeah,
but
it's
you
to be
can't go
funny.
in there and silently pray or silently study together because that's too much. That's come on now, Harvard. What
Yeah,
in the world?
if they go, you can hear the library going like, you know, what are
I
you
mean,
guys
they're literally
praying?
doing what
Shh,
libraries are for.
shh.
These are students who are registered students. These are not just members of the public. They belong to the school. They have every right to use the library. They're registered active students. They go in there as a group and sit down and study. And they're told they can't do that because they're doing it in honor of a side that Harvard doesn't agree with because it's not the side of their donors. Let's
Mm.
be real. Their
No,
donors don't like the other side. The students are all for one side of the conflict. I think this is outrageous. This can't stand. I think Harvard's making itself look very, very foolish. It's very foolish.
I agree. But I think
And
they're
then
one
they
of
go there
many
in a
things.
theological library and they sit and they pray quietly, silently. Why can't they do that? That's their library.
Yeah. No,
And they
it's
have a right to be in the library. They're not. I mean, the only thing you can't do in the library, right? Maybe have food. Cause a disruption, talk too loud or talk at all. Maybe, to face any property. They literally sat down, Fletcher, and put the first
pray.
time and just studied. But they were studying
Imagine that.
with as a protest, though. It was a protest study. They had
It's a
their books,
protest study.
but because it was known that it was there for protest study, they were kicked out of the library. Then they went and said, well, fine, we'll just pray. We won't study. Come on now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. This is the same thing we were talking about, like a little bit with Trump, with when you say you put this man under this lawfare, you put this man under this microscope, and you sue him for this, you sue him for that, you accuse him of this, you accuse him for that, you bring criminal cases against him. All that the people see is this man is being persecuted, and that's
Right.
honestly, that really, really helped him to win. Now, you make yourself less relevant. You actually hurt your case. And I think the same thing's happening with Harvard. If you really want the students to come around, telling them they can't study as a protest and they can't pray as a protest, you're making their case.
Yeah. And you have to follow the number one rule of being in a library is
no talking. They were following that rule. They were not talking. I mean, the first time they did it, they didn't talk. They were just there studying, but it was understood they had organized a study protest. And then they came for a prayer protest, and both times they were kicked out of the library because you don't like what they believe. Oh my gosh, there's no way. If I was on the other side of this debate, I would not stand with Harvard for this, because when you do absurd things, you don't help your side. Okay, because people will see through its absurdity. That sounds like that's dumb. You're now making the other side's case that what you're doing is some kind of vicious, controlling, hegemonic, control of the narrative. That you're not there for truth or justice. You're not there for light and truth. I mean, you're just, which I think is Harvard's motto, light and truth, lux et veritas. Maybe I could be wrong about that. And so it's all about, exactly. College is the Play-Doh fun factory of corporate conformity. Wow. That's what they're proving right now, Harvard.
That's what
Number one college in America. Maybe the world, they say. Not anymore. You have tarnished your image. You sound dumb. You're living this right now. The Play-Doh fun factory of corporate conformity. That's what you're telling these kids.
And this is why another reason why Trump won is because you have all this nonsense, because the nonsense just keeps going. But I guess one of the things that were supposedly stopping some of the nonsense was this Ohio Senate that passed a bill banning transmissions from
is that what we're saying now? Transformers. I like Transformers better.
More than meets the eye. From women's bathrooms. It's funny because none of this stuff happens in the men's restroom, right? I mean, right? It's not.
Yeah,
it's always in. It's
You're
always
right,
in y'all's. Always in y'all's bathrooms. Nobody wants to see my hairy butt. You know what I mean?
But they want to see mine.
Yeah, they want to see yours. Lovely, round, delicious.
Would you stop? What are you doing right now?
Okay, so the Ohio State passed a bill on Wednesday that would bar Transformers from using women's bathroom. The bill passed the Republican-controlled Senate and will be sent to Republican government. And it's easy, the people against this are gonna like.
Why is this a Republican issue? This is what drives me nuts.
This is what drives you nuts, right?
This is not a Republican issue. This is a decency issue. This is a safety issue. This is a human dignity issue. This is a Catholic issue. It is not right to have Transformers, like you say, that only goes one way. You don't have any Transformers trying to get into the men's room. You have Transformers trying to get into the women's bathrooms. And we have already seen some horrible harms that have happened to women and girls when this has happened, because not everyone who pretends to be a Transformer really is. It's just a pervert man who wants to harm women in a vulnerable space because it's small and they're usually in states of undress and alone. And so it's wrong. You shouldn't be. It never happened, but not that it could never have happened before. But when you invite it, you can invite more of this kind of deviant behavior, this violent and deviant behavior. And it's also uncomfortable. Most women do not want this. Most girls do not want this. They don't want Transformers in their bathrooms. So it shouldn't be, in my opinion, I'm not a Republican. I don't think it should be, a Republican issue. It should be, everyone should be on board. I mean, why did it become like that?
No, it is kind of crazy because you're making it that it's unsafe for women, and most of the people who do kind of stuff, I mean, the opposition is always like, there's so much violence towards Transformers and all this kind of stuff, but what they leave out is the majority of violence is coming from other Transformers.
No kidding,
Right?
really?
Yeah,
I think I had heard
a lot
that.
of them is coming from other Transformers. So it's basically, I mean, is it Transformers against Decepticons? Is that what's happening now?
Oh my God.
I
Now, see, now
mean,
this is beyond my pay grade now.
now
I can't
this
even
is
follow
getting
you
dirty.
now.
All right.
I can't even follow
So
you now.
there's still more winning happening because so I guess Elon Musk was named with
That's
Vivek.
right.
I guess they did become this whole it used to be like a meme, this whole Dodge thing, it's like Department of what is it? Is Department of what the heck is it?
I think it's called Department of Government Excess or something like that.
Yeah, something
So,
like
but
that.
I think that the original, so it stands for Doge or whatever, Doge. I might be saying it wrong, DOGE. And I think there was maybe a kind of cryptocurrency that Elon
Yes.
Musk was working on that had that name. I don't know if it ever took off. Oh,
Right.
Department of Government Efficiency. Yes,
Efficiency, right.
that's it. And I guess
Yeah.
that's literal. They're going to be doing. So Vivek Ramaswamy, I'm saying it wrong.
Right.
Thank you, Sir Glenn. Yes, government efficiency, Department of Government Efficiency. So between Elon and Vivek,
right, they're
supposed to cut the pork, right? Get the government spending down a little bit from the stuff that's absolutely just insane, because we're learning some of the absolutely absurd items that the government spends money on. I've heard about some kind of, study of birds on cocaine. I kid you not. It's like some of that stuff that was like $100,000 a year, or testing.
Yeah,
this
so
thing.
like cats walking on treadmills in Russia scored $549,000 from the U.S. government.
On treadmills.
President
Okay.
Biden took his son to Ireland on taxpayers footed the bill, coughing up $4 million for the trip. A jackpot of $3.7 million. All right, $3.7 million was spent to study monkeys and gambling. All right,
Gambling monkeys.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Staging drag shows in Ecuador cost taxpayers $20,000.
Why are we staging those shows over there?
That,
What are we doing?
I saw even like they have like a liquor store in the Pentagon or something or like the Senate or something that they subsidize. I guess so incur seizures, IRS play taxis. So they want Dodge, and I guess it all came from Elon talking about it in this.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it's either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
Oh gosh, is that where he made it up?
At the end of the day,
no,
you're
people were
being
talking
taxed.
about it.
You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it's either becomes inflation or it's direct.
Yeah, and people were talking about it. I mean, there's all kind of stuff on it. Elon Musk shared this one, and it says, please remember that the government has spent an average of $2 trillion more per year than it takes in for the last 8 years.
What?
Any company that ran like that would fail. Any person that lived like that would be beyond bankrupt. There's no good argument to continue like this. The government has spent on an average $2 trillion more per year than it takes in. So Elon was sharing that. It's like he's saying the excess government spending is what's caused inflation. All government spending is taxation. This is very important concept to appreciate. And it's either direct taxation like income tax or indirect via inflation due to increasing the money supply. And it's just insane. I mean, they're just spending the money willy-nilly and going crazy.
That's insane. They are going crazy. Honestly, that's insane. I mean, wow. That's just crazy. And it's so true. Bureaucratic bloat is rampant in government, corporations, and academia. And I think because there's no accountability. Government is not accountable to its people. It does what it wants. We're just supposed to sit down, shut up, pay your taxes, and take it. Corporations also sometimes have that attitude towards their shareholders and clients, customers. Academia almost feels like they're accountable to no one. And you're right. You see that all the time. And I'm not surprised that Nancy Pelosi opened a bar tavern. I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
But I
I saw that. I think
you
Musk
saw that. I didn't hear about that.
They talked about it because he has it on they have it on. I guess they get discounts for the liquor inside, like the House of Representatives or whatever it is. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Ursula beat you to it because she did send me this, and thank you for reminding me. But not thank you.
You're just trying to avoid it.
Because I am trying to avoid it.
Lady Jen, thank you for saying that because now you're gonna have to deal with it, Fletcher.
I can't.
Fletcher's dragging his feet because he doesn't want to show this whole picture. This picture is so repulsive. It's so repulsive. It's the only word you can use: depraved, disgusting, repulsive. So, since I know Fletcher is already skeeving out by seeing it, I will try to describe what you're looking at, which is a man. God made him male, XY, and a little tiny infant baby who is hungry, apparently, is sucking on his nipple. As though he were breastfeeding, but now it's called chest feeding. And you may have heard that because at least one of the federal government, and maybe a lot of state governments too, that have kind of like human agencies or so forth, have started to stop referring to the action that women have done for millennia in feeding their babies with their mammary glands, to stop calling it breastfeeding, but chest feeding, so that you don't offend the transformers, and let it be seen that men and women in their fantasy world can nourish children. Now, let's make sure that we don't lose any millennials or younger Zoomers who don't know, maybe because men cannot breastfeed or chest feed babies. They don't have anything in there that can nourish babies. So this poor child that you're seeing this is child abuse, because babies at that age have a natural instinct to suck to get nourishment because they're hungry all the time. They have to grow. They have to eat usually frequently, especially when they're that little. And it's normal and natural for them to get it through milk, and usually mama's milk. And so they do root around. They have a natural instinct to do that. And they are not getting anything. If they're getting anything, it might be the chemicals that this creature, trying to become something other than what he is by God, may be taken, or maybe drugs. And so this woman, dear woman, this might be a picture of her.
Yes.
Resigned. So there's something called the La Leche League. And I've heard of it because there are women who have trouble breastfeeding. Lactating, right? Exactly. And just like what we talked about earlier, like some women maybe have a hard time growing their hair. There are some women who have a hard time with having their milk come in. They may have delivered a baby, or they may have adopted a child that still needs to be, have milk. And of course, the most human, the most natural, and the most healthy milk for an infant, a human infant, is breast milk. Formula does not compare. You can get by, but there's certain hormones and antioxidants and certain things that set up a child for good health throughout their whole lives that you get only in breast milk in those early years. So La Leche League has been around, oh my goodness, since like probably our grandmother's days.
Yeah,
In
and it
which
was founded in the United States, but all this
yeah,
craziness it's coming from the crazy
it's from
freaking
it's from
UK.
England. Yeah, it's from England.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this
so
crazy
so
people in UK with their stupid,
they're the ones
you
now
know.
ruining it. So what happened was it started, yes, Fletcher, you're right. It started in the United States. It's a league of women, again, helping women who are unable to breastfeed because maybe they're sick or they're unable to. In fact, I've heard about La Leche League helping. There was a sad story where a dad's wife, she had given birth and then promptly died. And the little baby, he wanted him to have the best in life, including being breastfed, because again, formula, though you can get by with it, is not nearly as good. They will tell you that now. It's not nearly as good as breast milk. So La Leche League, they will bring breast milk to people. So a woman who maybe is nursing, she'll pump extra, okay? And they'll put it in a container. They have it all very organized, and people can get it delivered to them for their babies. That's La Leche League. And they do other things too. They train people in how to breastfeed. They help women who sometimes think they can't breastfeed, but they could. They just didn't have the information, because a lot of this knowledge has been lost because people don't really live like they used to with their grandma, great grandma, who have all this knowledge about how to do things. And you just, living far apart from anybody who knows anything, you come home with the baby and not sure what to do. So La Leche, they do that too. So this woman resigned, and she's an older woman. She looks very young there, but I think she's actually quite elderly. She might already be in her late 80s, I think.
But
And
she was still active.
yeah, and she was active in this group. In fact, I think she was kind of a leader in the
Yes.
UK division of this. And they started pushing on her that they have to stop calling it breastfeeding and they have to train men to do this stuff. And she says this is terrible because babies will starve. They can't get nutrients from a male boob. a man doesn't have it in him to breastfeed a child. I'm sorry, you don't have what it takes. And she thought it was confusing and that it was awful. And I think it is traumatic, because think about it. If a baby is constantly, sucking something and getting nothing, it leads to frustration. It might lead to indigestion. I don't know, all the things you might do. It's harmful for someone to live out their sick fantasy. I mean, they might even give the baby some formula, but they still want them to do this action to make them feel like they're women breastfeeding. What benefit is that to the baby?
No, it's insane. And it's more of this insane rhetoric. It's more of the things that make absolutely no sense, that I think a lot of people are fighting back, and that's where they fought back.
Well, good for her for resigning. There's no reason to stay around with people who are that insane. And I agree with Lady Jen. It is child abuse, pure and simple. It's child experimentation. There's no reason that you should be putting an infant to a male chest to try to teach it to suck that breast. I mean, that's full on crazy. It is completely, this is some kind of LARPing. It's not healthy for the child. It's some kind of sick fantasy. It's child abuse, and maybe worse.
And remember when
nothing good about that.
Remember when people told you, "Hey, don't eat this, don't drink this, don't smoke because it's going to harm your child." But hey, have all kinds of weird experimental drugs in you. That's okay. So, but it's more of the craziness that kind of is going on, that I think that people are not realizing it. They have become so desensitized.
Well, good for her. We all have to stand up, Fletcher.
Yes.
We all have to stand up. And as Sir Glenn is saying for us now too, it deprives the child of beneficial microbes from the mother. Yes, we're learning. That's really a good point. We're learning that with natural breastfeeding, with there's certain things that you can't get in nature otherwise. It's from the mom, and that includes a lot of these microbes. And some of these microbes are really important for your whole life. In fact, it acts almost like a starter pack. It's
Yeah.
like a lot of times it helps the immune system function even later in life. That you
But
have
we are
people who
not
are.
giving medical advice.
Oh yeah, no, of course we can't. We're gonna get shut down. So we better not say what's absolutely obvious.
But do your research.
Do
There's a
your
lot of
research.
there's a
There's
benefit. There's a
there's a
benefit
lot
to it.
of benefits, of course, and that's pretty basic. And so
Yeah.
it's so wrong. And so good for her for stepping down.
And
I
yeah,
mean,
doing something.
they're gonna ruin now. It looks like they're gonna ruin La Leche League. Great.
Yeah, obviously they already did, and that's kind of
Because you're
sad.
including men in, chest feeding groups. You're including
And
men. That doesn't make
it's
sense. By the way, if you want to ever watch something really funny in The Office, that when Pam and Jim have their baby and she's learning how to breastfeed in the hospital before she goes home because she wants to do breastfeeding, and the instructor is male. That's really funny. That's a funny thing because of
uh,
course it's uncomfortable for. Okay, all right, I won't go
uh,
on about The Office.
yeah,
Boom. Roasted.
yes, don't go on about the roses. Boy. Yeah, so more TDS happened. So I guess this is Disney Frozen 3 star, which is, I don't know. When I saw this, I was a little intrigued because, for one thing, this is throwing me off because it says Disney's Frozen 3 star. Frozen 3? So now it's like the
Is it
third of
Frozen
you're a
3?
star from
I'm
Frozen
so
3?
behind. I'm so
But
behind. I didn't
I guess he's
Frozen
calling that
3.
Yahtzee for Trump and his thing. And it's funny thing because this is a post that he did. So this is him. You see right there, Josh God, on Instagram. And he posts this incoming Trump administration is eyeing new immigrant detention centers near major U.S. citizen. And he put springtime for, the
Bavarian
the
mustache
Bavarian
guy.
mustache guy in Germany, which is, I guess, is isn't it like a take on the whole producers thing? That joke about the producers,
Oh
the polite,
yeah, that's a really
yeah,
funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a funny musical. It started out, I believe, as a musical on Broadway. It's pretty funny. I actually saw it. And I think it had Nathan Hale and Matthew
Nathan Lane
Broderick.
and Patrick
Nathan
Broderick.
Lane, yeah, Nathan Lane. That's right. Sorry, Nathan Lane and Matthew
So he's
Broderick, in
using
which,
this as a
yeah, in which they pretended. Well, I guess what they were looking for a hit show. They ran out of ideas. They thought it'd be funny to make a show. I think that would flop, they thought, because that would be
yeah.
helpful to them in this zany caper. And they came up with a show about Yahtzees, but instead it took off like crazy. So they called it this Springtime for the Mustached Bavarian.
And it's
And
apropos because what they meant for evil, in the same way that the play wanted to fail, he and his cohorts did the same thing because it did work out. But he's not the only one.
So do you
He's not.
agree that this guy, Josh Gad, is not funny? I honestly don't know him. A lot of these people are coming out the woodwork to make themselves relevant, and I don't even know who they are.
My understanding is that he used to be like in some kids shows and suffered unfortunately at the hands of some dudes in entertainment. So I do had some cousins and friends who grew up watching him and stuff. I wasn't in the United States, I guess, when he was popular, I think. So I'm gonna take Sir Glenn's take on it because I don't know the guy that much. Like I said, star of Frozen 3, yeah, not in my wheelhouse.
So I guess Mel
Yes,
Brooks wrote the producers with Gene
with
Wilder. Oh,
Gene
I like
Wilder,
Gene
yeah,
Wilder. He's funny.
yeah.
It
No,
was
it was
originally a
great.
movie starring Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder. Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't
Oh,
know that.
that's great.
I thought it was originally the play, but I guess it was originally the movie.
Oh, it
Interesting.
was original movie, and then they made a play. All
Then
right,
and then they made another movie.
and then
'Cause
they
I think
made
it was
another month to play.
yeah, yeah.
So this is the
It's
alternative. What's
layers.
on left?
Yes.
Who's on second? What's on third? But he's not the only one that was actually, putting their foot in their mouth. So it looks like Disney Snow White actress Rachel Segler causes controversy again with unhinged social media election tantrum. Hopes Trump supporters never know peace. Now this is kind of interesting in a sense because she was also in trouble because I guess the Snow White trailer teaser got ratioed because underneath she's like, and free Palestine type deal on the bottom. of the video, and you're like, well, her co-star is Israeli, so they're like,
Are you serious? This lady, you know what?
this
I'm
lady
sorry.
keeps on giving.
I can't with this woman. This woman.
But let
I
me read
can't
what
with.
she said.
Okay, I don't know if I can talk now. I can't with her.
Well, this is what
Rachel
she posted
Zegler.
on the Instagram. So I guess this is from her official Instagram account. I guess I will read it in voice. I find myself speechless in the midst of these another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards the world I do not want to live in, leaning us towards the world that will be hard to raise my daughter in, leaning us towards the world that would force her to have a baby she doesn't want, leaning us towards a world that is fearful. I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I'm heartbroken for my friends who woke in fear this morning, and I am here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic, and how the left continues to fail us in forging the new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. I echo Ethel's statement.
I can't.
More than anything, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. So basically, it's funny because when I was on Midnight Says Espanol, I said, I put it in like a thumbnail for a new video that's coming out. And it's like, it's a plot twist. She's the Wicked Witch.
She is the Wicked Witch. She is the evil queen. And I find myself questioning.
Basically.
It is a lamentation. No. What I really it's a malediction. What she's doing, which she doesn't realize, which is very dangerous. And we talk as Catholics a lot on this channel. When you say to someone, "May you never know peace," that's a curse. The Bible says, "Do not curse. Bless. Do not curse." You have a lot of power in your words. Life and death are in the tongue, it says. That's what the Bible says. You should be very careful. And Jesus says every idle word you say on earth, you'll have to account for with him. You have to account for every idle word. So you're saying some horrible stuff, saying you wish harm on millions of people you don't know, that they will not know peace. That's a very, very deep curse to say that somebody should not know peace. And for what? Because they chose a candidate that you didn't like?
Right.
And then I agree. She said something about her child. I didn't know she had a child.
I don't think she does. This is kind of like Future Child. Come to find out, she was actually doing this.
I can't with her.
In between, like her thing. She's making all these deep sickness in the country. Blah 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 blah. There's no help, no cancel. Blah blah blah. F this. Get off Elon's app. What are you doing? By the way, she still hasn't deleted her account.
You know what? I mean, listen, I wasn't for. Go ahead. I'll tell you later.
Well, she is doing this as somebody who loves theater. She's doing this. She's going on stage for Act 2 and needs to get off a soapbox. Do you know any? I mean, I don't know. My sister was in theater and things like that. I don't know of any actress that goes on Twitter and goes in rants before Act 2 is happening.
Yeah, right? I never heard of that.
You're going about your lines. You're going in all this stuff, and this is the kind of stuff you're doing as a professional.
That's how you know she's already fake. You're right. I've never known anyone to, in the middle of a performance, go out of character to go write a tweet or write something on X. I mean, you don't do that. You're staying in character. You're thinking about your next cue. You're doing your costume changes. You're being supportive or getting out of the way. That shows right there. She's not for real. She's illegitimate. She's not for real.
So the circling is right again on the money. Disney put the smackdown on her and made her apologize. This was just like 3 hours ago. From Stephanie from My Nerdy Home for Geeks and Gamers. Thanks for the thing, because she's the only one that follows Rachel Singlers. I guess Disney had a call, like an investor call. They never mentioned Snow White, even though it's one of their biggest features coming out. And I guess they're doing damage control because she did have to basically go out there and say, "Hi, everyone. I would like to sincerely apologize for the election."
Oh, she did? She did have to apologize?
She did. That was like a couple of hours ago. I shared my Instagram last week. I felt my emotion get the best of me.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look at that.
have
Our
caused me to
listeners
move further,
helping us
further away.
out. I didn't know that, Fletcher. I didn't know they made her apologize. Disney, good for them.
Yeah.
She should have to apologize. That's so disrespectful. That's what I was going to say. Listen, I was kind of trying to be as neutral as possible during the election until I kind of got to the point where I could not stand the other candidate anymore. But other than that, I was, trying to be fair to both sides, and actually all sides. I was interested in some of the third party candidates, for example. Go ahead, my man Cornel West. Okay, Jill Stein. Hello, shout out. And if my chosen candidate didn't win, if it turned out Kamala won or someone else won, I can't see myself saying to may you never know peace. You would think they bomb your village? What are you doing right now? What the heck?
It's crazy. No, it's just crazy. And I didn't know that. So there's a book called Snow, Glass Apples by Neil Gaiman. So Ursula, you might not know Neil Gaiman. He does
no, I don't.
Science fiction, kind of science fantasy books. He does some comics as well. And he plays with the mystical and stuff like that. So I guess this is called Glass Apples. It's just in a spoiler, but Snow White is a vampire. Then that would be more apropos, right? Why didn't they use her for that? That's what should have been. Now it makes sense. Now it totally makes sense. Yeah. Yes, he did.
That actually is a spoiler. That's a spoiler.
Sandman, I think it's
Snow White is a vampire.
That's that's
what?
Now,
is that why she's so pale? That's why she's so pale.
Now the whole thing makes sense.
What?
Now the whole thing's makes sense.
I don't know. You guys are kind of destroying my childhood right now.
Well,
Snow White's not a vampire. Snow White's a princess.
Yeah, well, it's a take on it.
So what's the Sandman series? What's the Sandman series?
It's basically, the man who comes for your sleep. He's the Lord of Sleep.
Oh, okay, that's right. I know that.
Yeah, so they have like other people that like death and all the kind of mysticism kind of stuff, and they have coffee shop talk. It's very emo. So I have this, which is I guess it's a parody ad. Features company that offers to cryogenically freeze liberals for a duration of Trump. This is the meme levels. It's just they're on another level. We've never seen this amount of memeing.
Doesn't she look so happy? She's being nicely frozen for the 4 years of Trump's presidency.
So I guess this is what
away.
It is. I don't know. I haven't watched.
Don't cry, cryo.
Are you distraught after the recent presidential election? Here at Don't Cry Cryo, we understand your pain, and we're here to help.
This is perfect, because you're like, don't cry, cryo, because that
cryogenics.
You don't even know what's real or not anymore, right?
Our expert team of cryogenic care providers can cryogenically freeze you until the Trump presidency has ended. No more crying, no more anxiety attacks, just blissful sleep until Trump is gone. When you awaken from your slumber, we'll even have a party ready and waiting for you. It will be like his presidency never even happened. It was all just a bad dream. As an added bonus, you can choose the Vance add-on package. We'll extend your sleep for an additional 4 years at a 50% discount in the event J.D. Vance wins the next presidential election.
That's hilarious.
I don't know. Some people are very talented, Fletcher. That's awesome.
Yeah. And this is all AI, right?
No.
Yeah, that's an AI. Those are AI people.
Stop it.
Yeah, that's an AI model. Yeah.
Oh, what? How do they do that?
Yeah.
That's too creepy.
Isn't it funny?
I know people. Yeah, it is super hilarious. That cryo system, she's right. That Lady Jen is right. That cryo commercial is hilarious. And honestly, you almost think it's real. It's almost to the point you think that could really be the case. You could go into something, cryogenically freeze yourself for 4 years until this whole thing is over, and that they would actually pay for that.
It's yeah, it's kind of it is kind of crazy, uh, because you know what they're doing. They're basically uh, preying on the fears of these people that think that it's going to be the end of the world, right?
Yeah, they are. And, but it's funny at the same time. They are still mocking it. But that's what people are acting like. But the strange thing, people have said he was president before. It's kind of
Right,
not, I guess he's the only one who will be a president with an interruption and then president again. I guess Grover
right,
Cleveland was one
right.
before. And so they say it's going to be a really good trivia question. Before, the question was, who's the only president who, won an election, then lost, and then came back and won again? I guess that was Grover Cleveland. Now it's Donald
Mhm.
Trump. So yeah, I mean, people are definitely having freakouts still and having that kind of idea that they would actually, what rather kind of, go into a hibernated state than deal with this. I don't know.
Yeah,
He does have that effect on people. I mean, he's definitely kind of a sign of contradiction, right? I mean, it's like you either love him or hate him, or I maybe love or hate is not the right way. I mean, you either kind of say, what, whatever, he's going to get the job done. I think a lot of people feel that way, or you have this, complete irrational derangement syndrome about him.
yeah, and it just keeps going and going. I mean, I I was thinking, I don't know if I'll show you this, but we were talking about crazy folks, and this I was like,
Oh my
oh my
gosh,
gosh,
I'm
should I
already not
show
feeling
this?
too good about how just that whole setup there
Just
was
the
kind
whole
of.
setup,
I'm
right?
not, I'm not sure what we're gonna be watching here.
All right, so I'm gonna pause this in between because it might be too much to even deal with here.
And this one is for the Trump supporters.
All right, right away, you know, you know it's gonna be spicy because that deep voice, right?
I don't know.
You are going to hell for this. You're going to hell for this. You have blatantly disregarded your neighbor. You have failed to care for the widowed, the orphaned, and the immigrant. You have committed idolatry, and you have become lost in your greed and your lusts. You are proud and envious. And
I
What is
guess
wrong with this creature? First of all, let's start with the obvious. A corduroy
right.
hat. A corduroy hat. I don't know if that's worse or
I
the
haven't
nose
even seen
ring.
a corduroy.
I
Yeah,
think the corduroy hat's
the
worse than the nose
collar.
ring. The
I
collar
think the
being
biggest.
askew, the collar being askew and purple is, I don't know. Let's go in
No,
order. Okay, know what? You know
I'm with.
what?
Hold on, I'm with Glenn on that one with the corduroy hat.
No, the
But
corduroy
not
hat
only
is
that,
first.
is the corduroy hat that doesn't match the jacket. If we really want to be picky, at
Now
least
you're
it
being
should
too
be the
picky
color
now.
of the
No, no,
jacket.
no.
I'm just saying.
All right, you know what? We'll add that to the list. So we're first going to say you have a corduroy hat. That's a problem. You have these oversized glasses that don't fit you. That's the next problem. You have a nose ring. That is a problem. You have a collar that is askew. It is not sitting properly. And it's a purple or mauve colored pastor shirt, which does not fit, and the jacket, which does not fit and does not match the color of the corduroy. And that's just in the frame that we see. Goodness knows if we saw the rest of him.
Who knows? Yeah, there's definitely
The
rocking some
septum. Are
Crocs
you right?
there.
It's not a nose ring. I mean, for those who don't see this, I thank you, Lady Jen, for correcting it, because you're right. It's not really a nose ring. Technically, a nose ring would be in
Yeah,
basically like kind of from your nostrils. This is
yeah.
a septum. Oh, it's so disgusting. It's like the way
Oh
you would put on a
gosh.
pig. It's a septum ring. It's a little different. A nose
Oh
ring
my
could be a little cute,
gosh.
although I think, I'm kind of over that. But and he has the gap teeth. No offense, you can't help that. But altogether, that look is not. That's not looking. Oh, let's talk about his comments.
Right.
Um, who are you to say that people are going to hell because they selected someone to vote for? I don't think anyone anointed you anybody's pastor. And yes, he's probably a worshiper of Baal with that septum ring, as Sir Glenn says. And you don't know that, and you don't have the right to proclaim. Again, he's trying to do a curse, and I don't think is in the name of Jesus,
Yeah.
we send these curses to the foot of cross. Both
Amen.
Rachel Zegler's and this one. Anyone listening, no, you're not going to hell because you voted for Trump. And no, her saying you're never going to have peace is not the truth. Jesus is peace. Cling to him, you
Amen.
have peace. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. Don't let these people curse you. I mean, they're going to have real regret for having
Yeah.
said this, because that's not right. You can't say stuff like that.
Yeah, so but it's like you failed your neighbor. You care for the widow, the orphan. You know, or what is it? What the heck? I mean, I think the thing is she's just trying to say, or he's trying to say, you know, it's like you're idolatrous. You can say the same thing about her party. You know, and it's fair to care for the widow. You fair to care for the orphan, because those are the people who are, you know, are passing in all this. You know,
And can we just please stop? I mean, can we just please stop assuming that people necessarily endorse everything of the person that they vote for? Can we just stop that? Because yes, it's true, some people might, but it's just as true that some people might say, you know what, I don't like their policy on X, but I like their economic policy. Or I don't like their policy on Y, but you know, I like the way they're going to deal with the international. I don't think that it's as simple as that, to say that somehow they don't care about issues because they chose, you know what I'm saying?
right?
I don't think I don't think that's completely fair. Now, there's certainly truth in that. For example, as Catholics, we have certain guidance about, you know, they say to be, you know, you have to use your judgment, your conscience in
Yeah,
voting. But again, it's not necessarily, sometimes you get two bad choices. It's not like when you choose one of the two bad choices,
right.
that means you're endorsing all their things they do wrong. You're saying the things that I think they might do right
Hmm.
kind of outweigh what I think the other person might do right or do wrong. There's no perfect candidate here, and that happens. And it doesn't mean that you're endorsing something they did wrong. So I agree with David here, Sir Glenn. I mean, judge not lest you be judged. The Bible's clear on that. This is way on judgment. This is not, hey, I'm cautioning you. And you know what? Is nothing holy about this, because even if you were an appointed preacher, which he is not, he is patently not, but even if you were, your message is never you're condemned. There's no condemnation in Christ. None. It says it in Romans 8:1. There is now no condemnation in Christ. You don't get to condemn somebody. What you can do is say, I really encourage you to consider what you did that I think is wrong, or, you know, watch yourself or you will go to hell.
Yeah,
You don't get to say you are going definitively because you
yeah,
don't have a hell to put nobody in, dude. And I agree with, that's what I was trying, Lady Jen said what I was trying to say. Most of the times there's a list of pros and cons based on policies. It's not just a one issue vote. That's exactly the right thing. That's exactly right. Most of the
yeah,
times you can't make a one issue. There's a lot going into the decision. And so these people having a meltdown, I don't know what their issues are. It's not necessarily the case that the things you don't like about Trump, maybe your neighbor who voted for Trump don't like that either. But
yeah,
they, you know, they thought, you know, this was a better option for them. Okay. So you don't have to be hateful about it. And I do think you're right. It is kind of presumptuous on his part to presume that he knows the mind of God. That is very sinful. Yes, I would
Well,
agree.
well, I think it's
It's very
I
sinful.
think it's a lady that's
Are you serious?
yeah.
So
So
I'm misgendering.
no, you're
I'm not
not.
doing it
Because
intentionally.
and nobody
I'm
knows.
not
So this is
misgendering on purpose. I
no.
hate
This is like
this
what was
person
that
didn't give
movie
their
on Pat?
pronouns, so how would I know?
Remember that movie on Pat? This must
Yes,
be
I do
kind of like the
remember
whole
Pat.
thing.
Yes, I do remember
So I
Pat.
guess he's calling Trump the
Called him the
Antichrist.
Antichrist. You would still follow him.
So she's like, you know, if you were still the Antichrist, still follow him. He's a convicted felon, you know, blah blah blah, convicted predator. All this stuff is like you're not even telling the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
there's no truth in this.
yeah, yeah.
It's something. I mean, look at the eyes. You can see the eyes of a
Yeah.
mirror to the soul. And this is a person who is
It's
really basically what she is saying against Trump supporters honestly seems true of her. I see a lot
That
of
is sloth.
pride.
You saw hatred as the path of least resistance and the
and isn't that what you're saying right now?
Yeah.
best way to maintain your lifestyle. And you took it. You took it at the expense of the lives of so many of the neighbors you are supposed to be loving.
And who's gone? Right? Who's taking it away? I mean, what neighbors are we talking about?
You have failed as a Christian. You have failed to live up to the expectations of Christ. And we all do at some point or another. But you need to repent. And I don't believe in hell as a place of eternal fire. No.
Okay, so
you're still wrong.
You're
So
still wrong.
you're wishing people to go to hell and don't even know what hell is, because
You
hell
don't even
is a
believe
place
it.
of eternal
Right.
fire. So shut up and sit down. Jesus said it was.
I think hell is going to be something so much worse for you. Because if you got thrown into a pit of fire, if you were tortured for all eternity, you would never learn anything.
And this is as somebody who
This
has
person
suffered
is a
when he was-
heretic. A public heretic is what you're listening to, everybody, boys and girls.
Yeah, and as somebody who suffered, severe burns when I was a child, I did you suffer this? That you can say this?
You would just feel slighted by God. You'd fall on your knees and feel persecuted. And you'd cozy up to the devil for perks. Because that is what you have been doing for your entire life. That is what you did with
This is one of those like science fiction pastors or something. Like
I think
They're just-
I think what Sir Glenn said is absolutely perfect. This is a very presumptuous soul. This person sounds
Yeah.
like Satan, because Satan is known as
Yeah.
the accuser. In fact, that's what the name Satan means. It means accuser. That's what he is doing. There's nothing here of love. There's nothing here. It's good. In fact, we talk about the Bible talks about like it's good to admonish your brother. If you
Yeah.
see someone doing wrong, that's actually a spiritual work of mercy. But it's not admonishment if it's condemnation, and if it's presumptuous, and if it's accusing. And it
Yeah.
is a sin. He's presuming to know the mind of God. That is a sin into itself. This person is not in a position to be lecturing anyone else. You can see the issues already on the
Yeah,
face.
there's no humility. There's no like
no
meekness or,
humility.
that is
Okay,
worse
say
than the
that,
lake of
Fletcher.
fire, making people watch The Last Jedi over and over. Yeah.
So he's like, wait, what
and
could
then
be
you
worse?
scream.
Wait
you're
a minute.
screaming,
He's-
"Ray!"
Wait, he said, what can be this Sir Glenn, what can be worse than a lake of fire, making people watch The Last Jedi over and over? Yeah, I guess that could be. That could be. He's completely wrong about all of these things. I would just tell him to read a book. He might need to start by reading some books. It's just complete ignorance on display, acting as though it has the, purporting to tell people something. It's like, come on.
Yeah, and there's some interesting things that are happening, and there is some entertainment coming out, and I don't know. I know, Ursula. I think you didn't watch this because it came out not too long ago, the other day, and
Yeah,
I
what is
saw.
this?
So this is Netflix has a show that is a movie called Mary. Some people are already iffy about it. I watched parts of it already, the trailer, and it does contain some things that we find questionable. And I think also
Really?
there's I don't know if this is more of the whole like the Chosen stuff, that wacky show.
Okay, now I know you say it's wacky, but I am hearing good things from people about it.
Yes, yeah. So there's a whole lot of stuff on this one. I mean, there's all
Okay.
kinds of people coming on it. The funny thing is kind of like the left and the right are against it, because one of the things is because I think that half the actors are from Israel, so there's the one side that are going Majus, and then there's
Oh my
people
gosh,
like saying,
you said that on this channel?
Well, that just said it like that's
Okay. All right.
they kind of sing song style, and then you
Okay.
also have uh people that are like bandits because they made Mary, the actress I believe is Israeli, and they're like, well, Mary was a Jew, and then you have the Muslims. Well, Mary was Muslim, and all this kind of stuff. Of course, our take is that a lot of the stuff that's happening in the trailer, it's questionable for us as Catholics, because we hold a very high reverence for the Mother of our Lord, and we hold her in very high regards as we should. And I was, it's funny because when this came out, I had like all my friends kind of reach out to me. What do you think? What do you think? And I'm like, yeah, it's like I already knew they were going to ask me. And I was like, yeah, there's some really questionable things in this trailer.
So, like, what are you thinking of?
I can show you parts of it, and we can't really show the whole trailer. I'm not going to put the music on because
Yeah, we're gonna
Netflix
get a
does.
strike. Yeah,
Yes,
they're gonna
so
strike us.
I can
Yeah.
place part of it. So there's a little bit of movement and stuff. It's really pretty. That's one thing, right? It does have like a little pretty take on it. Very well shot. I hear that the director is Catholic, so a lot of people were, oh, okay, but there's some of the stuff did seem a little bit questionable, because they have some of these imageries, you know what I mean, that it's a little, a little on the creepy side and stuff.
Oh, okay.
They got what they do have. It looks like Sir Anthony.
Oh, Sir Anthony Hopkins? Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
that's what I'm saying. It looks good. So yeah, I mean, it looks good. The actress has been getting a lot of hate from
So they want her to be black or Arab? Is that it?
who knows? I know that a lot of people are like I said, the left side are like, yeah, she's not all these things, and the right side, of course, is like, yeah, some of the depictions are a little bit on the questionable side. So they do have some of the things, I guess. That's the other thing, because they have Saint Joseph, the father of our Lord Jesus Christ,
The foster
as kind of,
father.
yes, but they have him portrayed in a lustful sense, like he lusted after Mary, which,
Okay, that's a problem.
as we as Catholic, we believe in his purity.
Yeah,
we
that
believe in
didn't
the
happen.
purity of their marriage, and yeah,
Yeah.
as you can see, he's thirsty right here.
Oh no. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on from that. Saint Joseph, please pray for us. We're sorry.
And then they
We'll make
have
some
this,
reparation.
which is this is, I guess it's supposed to be like the spirit, like this is supposed to be the angel, so this
What
is,
angel? Which angel?
well, I guess this is supposed to be
Gabriel?
yeah, so I
That's a
believe,
shame. He doesn't look like that.
yeah, it's
He looks like he's about to do some kind of drug, transaction. It looks like he's, I mean, come on.
that's messed up. You see, and you say I'm the one, and then you're like, you're supposed to
Yeah,
be like,
this director.
hey, Mary, you got, that's just
You
messed
got
up.
any? I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, Lady Jen asked us what Mary, both Marys. I'm not sure, having not seen this. By the way, just what
Yeah,
you're
those are
showing me
mine
right
because they're
now,
black and Arabs.
what you're
Yeah.
showing me right now, before you put up the little caption here from our
Yeah.
supporters, it said you are going to have a son. Can you go back and show that you are to have a son? I
Yeah.
don't know if they told the actual part from the scripture, because in the scripture it's not she's told.
Yeah.
It's more as though she's invited, and she
Right.
basically asks how this would go about, like, how is this to be. since I have, no knowledge of men. And he says, the Holy Spirit will overshadow you. That's how it will happen. And then you will call him. It's not like the way this sounds. It sounds like she was forced or something. This is some
Yeah,
kind of
like you're
weird.
told. I mean,
Yeah.
you can see she's in agony, she's in pain. And
Yeah.
this is the Holy Virgin Mary, Jen. She's
She's not
the mother
writhing
of
on
God.
the floor. I mean, look
Right.
at the
I mean,
beautiful artists. I mean, this has been done better. I mean, look at like, the painter Raphael or Fra, Angelico or Rembrandt or any one of the numerous artists who've portrayed this moment where the angel Gabriel comes to Mary, the mother of Jesus, the mother of God, and says, hail full of grace. The Lord is with thee, you are chosen. And she's like, what is this message? Don't be afraid. You found favor with God. And they've shown it in many ways. No one was there, aside from Mary and the Gabriel that we know of, but they have a great holy imaginations, and they've come up with these beautiful scenes. And we've seen stuff like that portrayed in moving pictures, people taking those scenes or having their own little skits and pageants. But writhing on the floor with like, this Beauty and the Beast candelabra in the back with this shadowy figure with a hood. This
yes,
is
like,
ugliness. This is not art.
did
Art
they run out of
is
money or
they
something
run
like
out of
that?
ideas, Fletcher. They're out of ideas. This is not beautiful. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to do this beauty show sometime on what art is. Art is mimesis. It's meant to be beauty. It's the postmodernists that have uglified it and made it nonsense. This is nonsense what we're looking at. And like I
Yeah, I
agree
mean,
with
it's
Glenn, this
supposed to
is
be beauty. It's supposed to be beauty.
it's supposed to be
It's
beautiful.
a beautiful angel, beautiful Mary,
Like he says, it
coming
looks
and
like the
stuff.
director for that might be a Christmas Easter only Catholic, not somebody who really knows their faith. And the lighting
Yeah.
looks like Matt Reeves directed it. Of course, I don't really know Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves is the guy who directed the new Batman. Is really dark.
Oh,
It's kind
okay.
of funny. This way it's portrayed looks like God did something to Mary that I'm not going to write
That's
down.
so true.
Yeah, no, that is true. She looks like she was
Been
abused.
assaulted.
She looks like
Yeah.
she's been assaulted. And look at the thing, like you said, like
That's
a
messed
creeper,
up. That's a
like
horrible
he's like a
take on
drug
God.
dealer on the crap, like all in the
Yeah.
dark.
This
This
is
is
the
an
deep
angel. This is an angel.
This
I
is the
mean, and what are
devil's
you
take
telling
on
me?
the Annunciation.
This is the devil's take on Annunciation, because you're telling me this is the heavenly angel, right?
Yeah.
And telling her that she's blessed and she's writhing in agony in some kind of weird fetish dungeon, right? And she's
Yeah.
writhing in agony like she was just abused, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna be having a son," and they're like, "Oh, look at that." I mean, this is disgusting. This is the
It is
mother of our
actually
God.
depraved. Yeah, it's
And then you're going,
disgusting.
this stuff is depraved. Every Catholic, Christian, if you
Stay the
have,
heck
hey,
away from this. This is not
Muslims,
good for your brain.
Muslims, Jews, anybody who has respect or somebody that knows
Yeah,
that
stay away from
religion
this.
should not be messed like this. And
And
this
it's
is,
also not good art. This is not
this is
good
horrible
art.
art.
This is not art.
This is horrible art.
You don't see anything that is uplifting, interesting, no unique take. This is, again, the devil got a hold of the camera and got Matt Reeves to light it and then put this together.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is not.
It's a terrible take
Yeah,
on God.
this is
God
not the
is not,
Annunciation.
yeah,
This is
it's
not
not.
beauty where you have like something. Oh, this is beautiful. This is
Yeah.
something that should be yourself.
Yeah.
This is something dark and sinister. Look at it. So this is an angel telling you that, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Do you get this from this? Do you see this
No, you don't
creepy
get that.
hand? This creepy hand is this is like some horror flick.
And you know
know?
what, too? Even the fear, like people talk about the
is this?
fear. So listen, a lot of times when people see angels, they have fright, right? But it's not what you call abject fear. That's the difference. So like it's more awe. So the Bible calls it fear because with the translations, mostly from the Hebrew or Aramaic or Greek or Latin, depending on what you're starting with, it's like hard to describe what that is. So it's called fear. That's why we say the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. It doesn't mean abject fear, like you're frightened, like someone's trying to kill you. It's more like you have so much awe that is with respect. So that's what Mary would have had with this angel. You have a beautiful picture. This one here is Leonardo da Vinci from the 15th century, oil and tempera on panel. Tempera, I'm not saying that right. Tempera. We will say it right when we do our beauty show. And it's a beautiful one. And I don't know if it's one I've seen in person or not. Been fortunate to go to a lot of really fine art museums around the world. I've been to the Louvre. I've been to El Prado in Spain. I've been to, the ones in New York. I've been to ones in around the world. And I've seen a lot of these beautiful ones, and they're quite stunning in real life. The colors, the scale, the scope of them. And you can see here, this is the moment of the Annunciation, right? This is Mary, and she's being approached by the angel Gabriel for this amazing moment where it says Gabriel is sent to her to tell her this news that she's been selected to be the mother of God. And she has to say yes or no deal. And she asks a couple questions, and then says or asks a question and then gets a good answer that satisfies her and says, okay, be it done unto me according to thy word. That's what we sometimes call the fiat, meaning let it be done. Fiat. It's in the prayer in Latin. And it's also in the Our Father prayer, let thy will be done.
Yeah,
Fiat.
but it continues because now she's getting
And
questioned.
now she's being accused. That's Satan. This is Satan's take.
By Joseph.
No, he would never. That's in the Bible. It never. This is a sacrilege.
Right?
This is a sacrilege.
She's getting almost stoned.
Yeah, that never happened.
Getting almost stoned.
That's not what the scriptures say. This is Satan giving his take. It's not good.
I mean,
just to rehabilitate St. Joseph here for a minute, he's a wonderful, wonderful model for any man and women, honestly, in the Bible, because it says that, he talked to God about it. He didn't question Mary. And in fact, because he wasn't sure what was going on, it says he was going to quietly divorce her. And I heard a priest give a really good homily on this and says that if you did that, he would not get his money back because they had to pay a certain amount of things to her family in those days because of the way the culture is. There's still some cultures that do this, the exchange of dowries, exchange of what they call bride price, depending on whatever culture you're in. But apparently if he did it that way, he had to pay it back. But he didn't want to put her to shame. So he would never, ever say something like that to her, even if he did suspect her. Others say he didn't suspect her. He suspected it was something very supernatural, but he was thinking it was above him, his pay grade. Some say, maybe he wasn't sure how she came to be with child. Others say he knew it was something supernatural, but that's why he wanted to stay away. He just, he knew she was a very holy woman, wonderful girl. He didn't think she did something wrong, but he figured there's something going on. I'm going to just bow out here. And it says that the angel said to him in a dream, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife. Trust me, what's conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. And so he said after that moment, he had no issues. He was like, okay. So like, there was no moment like this. They're making it like, again, like as Jen says here, Lady Jen, it's a lot of blasphemy. This sounds like they're having fun with blasphemy. I don't know if that's actually worth doing. If you have all the talent in the world, why would you use it to tear down faith or religion, tear down respect for God, make it so mundane and like what we see today, as opposed to the high-minded, beautiful things that was part of the reality of how this happened? They had enough things they dealt with. If you want to show something ugly, why not show how Herod had all the baby boys killed after he found out that this one would be the Messiah? Now, if you want to show something ugly, maybe show that and maybe draw a connection between that and the unborns being deleted now, for, in a sense, power. So you instead you want to make the parts of this story that are beautiful ugly. That's just yeah. I really appreciate what Jen said here. Lady Jen said that is true. It is a blasphemy. I also appreciate Sir Glenn's take that this is bad art because Matt Reeves looks, I don't know this guy, no offense to him, but it's bad lighting. I mean, I don't see
Yeah.
it. I can't even see it.
No, it's just it gets worse. Just
Oh, maybe not show the worst, Fletcher.
All right. So there's the saving her from stoning uh by marrying her, right? It's like, I don't care what they say, you know what I mean? I'm gonna marry her. So they had the little wedding, you know? And
And I don't think that's how the wedding looked.
I don't think so.
It does
But
get worse.
this it does get worse.
Well,
So
let's
we
not
have
show the worst, Fletcher.
Well, I'm just saying there is we don't believe as Catholics in that Mary had any uh birthing pains
Nope,
because
she
it's part of
didn't.
the immaculate
Yeah,
conception.
yeah.
And you have this film also showing that, which is so far as we've seen the least of these. But
Yeah, she didn't because it was a
yeah,
curse and she wasn't under that curse because she was giving birth to
yeah.
Jesus. She was immaculately conceived in order to bring forth the Messiah as the Ark of the Covenant.
And
So
then you have
no,
this, which
she
I
didn't
have no
have
clue what this is.
she didn't have the curse of Eve that, she gives birth in pain. I don't know what we're looking at. What is that? That's
I have no
crazy.
clue. I don't know. I mean, I guess she's taken away with some kind of thing, and then she's Joan of Arc all of a sudden,
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
riding a horse into battle through
Oh
fire.
gosh.
You know. So this, I guess, is the like Jen said. This is the other Mary. I think this is when they both.
But have you noticed this? Someone said this to me, and I think it was a priest. May he rest in peace. I think it's a priest that's gone now. He said, "Did you ever notice that?" And someone thought I was just being a conspiracy theory. But it's not. He says, "Look, and you see, before Christmas and before Easter, there's always some kind of blasphemous movie poster, art."
Right.
So to speak, magazine. There's some documentary. It's always released timing
It's
wise.
always release timing.
Right. We're getting close to Christmas, and then you see it also close to Easter. And he's right, because it's like after he said that, I started noticing, like I'm at the supermarket right before Easter.
Oh, I think the Interflex probably got a little flexy with Ursula, and I think we kind of lost you on that one. So yeah, this is good, and yeah, it does get worse. Yeah, there's a lot of blasphemy in this movie, and if just it's so true, as Jen, if Jesus was going to take away pain from anyone, it would definitely be from his mom who was giving birth to him. It just doesn't make sense.
Definitely.
Oh, you're back! Yay!
I'm back. I was
Yeah,
saying
what's
it's true.
back?
It's true what the priest said. You see this all the time right before Easter and Christmas, and I saw it before. It's like something
Yeah,
you see happen. Yeah.
I
You know what
mean,
they're also doing that's also kind of blasphemous here? They're making her into like a little like feminist, like I will save the world. Love will save the
yeah.
world.
Love
I
will
don't have to
save the
listen to
world.
anyone, me against the world.
Yeah,
I don't think that's it. That's not,
yeah,
Mary was part of a community. She
yeah.
wasn't,
And
I'm
we
gonna
want
strike
beautiful
out.
Mary. We
I'm
want the
gonna
beautiful
strike
Mary. We
out.
want the Michelangelo Mary, as we have here. We
Yeah.
have. I mean, what happened to good beauty? Beautiful things. I mean, why don't we have uh the beauty Mary that doesn't have to be this uh some kind of horse riding Mary
I
that's
know, through
really
the
going
fire.
through the
What are we
fire.
looking at? And
It's just
you know what's crazy about this too, Fletcher?
yeah,
Because honestly, they think to make her heroic, like you said, make her Joan of Arc, who actually
yeah,
led men into battle. The fact is, what her special vocation was, her courageous, discipleship was not about getting on a horse and riding into fire. It had more to do with remaining faithful to follow the plan, even when she didn't know exactly where it would lead. It ended up with her standing at the foot of the cross, seeing her son crucified, and having to trust that it was still going to be okay. that trust God always. It wasn't really like, that's the thing. A lot of us think, what is it to follow God? It means you're going to be on a horse running through fire and
Yeah,
running.
right.
But most of the time, it just means, you know what? Don't answer back that person in anger, even though you feel like you want to cuss them out, or don't steal, that stuff from your boss, even though he kind of deserves it. And don't,
Right.
don't cheat on your spouse, even though, you're like, they're not doing what you want. Don't, a lot of it is not courageous in the sense of like going on a horse through fire. A lot of times being a follower of Christ has to do with the everyday, that being nice to your kids when you want to just do your own thing. Instead, you say, I'm a sacrifice, take them to the park because that's what's good for them. Seeing somebody who's hungry, maybe just your neighbor, maybe nothing dramatic like some homeless on the street. Maybe it's just your neighbor maybe it's an older lady who doesn't cook well anymore, would love for you to come by. That's what it's about. They're making this. Mary was the normal woman in that sense.
Right.
I mean, she most of her life, they say that Jesus was just in Nazareth, as a carpenter with his foster father, Saint Joseph. And the years of his ministry with the disciples and changing water into wine, that was like the last 3 years, and then he was crucified and he rose. Most of the time they just lived normal life, right? Just being holy. So they
Yeah,
don't get it at all. And that would
you
be, by
didn't
the
get
way, a
the
beautiful movie. I think that's, in fact, in the Passion of the Christ that Mel Gibson did, he does a really nice job of that, where they show a flashback, right?
right,
And it
the him
shows
and
Mary and
building a
Joseph, and he's building
right,
a table, like, and
right.
you could just see her making fun, like, where are you
Yes.
going with this? Because
Yeah. That's this
is this
whole
gonna
sitting
take
up really high. It's like,
sitting
no,
up
mom,
really
is really
high?
is really
Yeah,
gonna
he's like,
take
oh, I
off.
came up with
It's gonna be the
something
best thing
new.
ever. Right.
Right, exactly. That kind of thing could be a really good movie, actually.
That is a good movie. But speaking
Yeah.
of good movies, we might have a good documentary coming because they are making Blessed Carlos Acuti's documentary. If you people don't know, Carlos Acuti is one of our newest saints. That he's basically the saint of the internet, video games, and things like that. So I guess they're making a beautiful documentary about him to get more people to love him and understand him, and hopefully we will get some kind of good harvest from this
Yeah, I
because
hope
he
so. A lot of
really was
people, you
a
really
great
should
kid.
look into this young, great kid. His name was Carlo Acutis, as Fletcher said. And he was a really neat kid. He had parents who were pretty lukewarm in terms of their faith. They really didn't do much. In fact, I don't think they even went to church. But somehow, from a very young age, he was gifted with this incredible passion and fervor for God. He was really, really devout. And he would do these things where he would like preach to the kids, but not in a way that they didn't like him. He was actually quite popular, but he was always trying to say, like, do the right thing. He'd stick up for kids who were bullied. He wrote in a journal from a very young age. He was very intelligent about how he wanted to serve Jesus, and just a really holy kid. But he also had very interesting, typical activities that kids do. Like, he really enjoyed, riding his bike a lot. He rode his bike a lot. He played video games a lot. He went to, events. He was normal. But he was very, very holy. He had a big devotion to the Eucharist. So the body and blood of Christ that's transformed at Mass into the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. He had a whole website he set up to show the miracles associated with the Eucharist. There are a lot of Eucharistic miracles. If you're really interested, you can read a book called Eucharistic Miracles by Joan Carroll Cruz, or just go to his website because they keep it active. Unfortunately, he did get leukemia, I believe, and died young. He died as a teenager, and as part of the cause. So when someone's going to become a canonized saint, the church will do an in-depth, investigation into their lives. And some people said, well, he won't make sainthood because he's a teenage boy. And once you look at his computer, it'll be over. That didn't happen. His computer was completely all pure. It was just all stuff about God or his precious video games. He was very, very disciplined about his games, though. He'd watch maybe like an hour a day because he had homework.
Mm-hmm.
He'd play an hour a day. He was very, very self-disciplined, and again, for the Lord. So
and he I believe he's incorrupt, right?
I think they said he wasn't corrupt, at least temporarily so. So incorrupt is when someone has been dead for a while, they dig them up and they still look dewy and fresh. Sometimes they can last like that for years and years. There are some examples like Saint Bernadette of Nevers in France, and there's many others. In fact, there was a recent one, a nun who is in Missouri. She'd been dead for, decades. She should be a skeleton, and they opened up her casket to look at her for the cause of her beatification and found her to be dewy. I think Carlos was as well. I don't know. In some cases, it doesn't last once they expose to the air, but it's a sign of God's grace, obviously. And you have to have a miracle associated with them in order to get to that first level of being beatified, which is the step before being sainted. So there's 3 steps. There's venerable, meaning their lives were worthy of imitation. Then there's beatified, and then saint. For his beatification, I don't know what he got for the second miracle, Fletcher, but the first one was a young person who I believe in riding her bike had an accident and was not given much chances of life. She had a very bad accident. I'm not sure if she collided with a car or some other object, but they didn't give her much hope. And I think her little friend or her sister went to the tomb of Carlo Acutis in Italy and asked for his intercession, said, would you please help with my sister? Because a lot of times Catholics will look to someone who had a similar situation of some sort that they might be like a patron for. And in his case, he never had an accident, but he loved riding his bike. He was a bike rider. He may have had an accident, maybe not as serious as that. And she miraculously just healed. I think spontaneously they were going to do a surgery and she was just fine. They all, the doctors all said, yeah, it's a miracle. And so that was one of the miracles that got him to the point where he'd be beatified.
So we do have some good stuff coming, and we do kind of want to highlight that. We're not going to just
will it be good
be
though,
like,
Fletcher? Are these people going to do a good
these
job?
people are legit. They're not. These are actual Catholics, or that it's backed by the family, I believe, and the Vatican is involved, and I think people are gonna be surprised, and hopefully for the better. One of the things that I wanted to kind of close on and stuff, now that we're kind of going on because it's late, but I don't know if you know this, but there was a miracle in Venezuela for La Virgen de Guadalupe. So firefighters were stunned after witnessing an unexpected incident. While a furnace was on fire and a fire was supposed to cause the fire to spread, they noticed the image of the Virgin of Guadalupe painted in the wood of a tree, right? So they noticed the flame in the tree was still going, and when they were amazed by it, and they were like almost like they didn't go out to put it out, but then when they did go to put it out, they did say that we stayed there watching her for a while after before putting out the fire. It was stunned because I guess the flames would not touch her image.
Wow.
So I thought that was, it's incredible, because if you see the flames are still smelting. And if you feel like, oh, well, it was just fire on the top, but as you see, the tree's already fallen, and you can see in the corner that there is, it's all black around it, meaning the fire was everywhere. But as you can see where the image is, and some people, when sometimes fallen trees in South America, instead of taking it down, I'm not saying we're some lazy sometimes, but sometimes we are. And what we'll do is we'll just decorate the tree. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that what it is? 'Cause I was like, why would that happen? Okay.
Yeah. So this was it's the image. As you can see, the fire was all around it, but it did not touch the image. And I thought that would be something really cute. You know what I mean? To check out, because I mean,
No, it's it's one of
miraculous,
those
isn't it?
theophanies. Yeah, I mean, there's things that happen that show. I mean, in fact, the actual image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which we have discussed before on this channel, and please go back to one of our earlier shows in which you'll see we talked about it, because Trump actually had given some kind of honor to Our Lady of Guadalupe. And some people, of course, took issue with that. and we described to you what the miracle of that image. But in the actual image that's now hanging in a shrine in the Basilica of Mexico City also has been set on fire, bombed, and whatever, and had no effect. So this is another one that someone did by hand. The one, of course, hanging there was done by God, but this one is pretty impressive also.
No, it's really impressive. It's I mean, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, they did a nice job. It's very startling, the picture, the image. The actual image has no color. It has color, but it has no paint on it. They've tried to find paint on the image, and there's no paint. It's just color without paint. So it's really a miraculous image. And this one, you can see that, but you can see the miracle because it's smoldering around it, but didn't touch that. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's pretty
we
cool.
do want to end it. We have been trying to end on our cute animal videos, and I was like, okay, I've been falling behind on that. I apologize, my bad. And so I will now give you a mischievous baby goat.
Oh, really?
I
What is
can't.
he doing? He's so cute. He's jumping on top of the sheep
Yes, he's just jumping on top of the sheet just
just because.
annoying us heck. Uh, I mean, we all have that one office mate, right? Poor sheep is like, whatever, man. Just I just want to eat. I don't care.
You know, they jump really high.
They do. It's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, it is cute, right, Jen?
Yes.
But
All
alas,
right.
it's time to
Time to
go
go.
to
Yeah.
the bed.
Let's go. Late
Thank
night.
you guys
Late
for
night got
hanging
late.
out. Late
Very
night got
late.
late, and we gotta get up early. And we thank you guys for joining us and hanging out with us. And we're gonna bid you adieu. Thank you.
Adieu, adieu,
Ad-
adieu.
Adieu, adieu. Thank you so much.
Have a great night. Thank you, Sir Glenn, Lady
Thank you,
Jen.
Grace. Let it
Hugs
Jen.
back.
Hugs everywhere back. Have a great night. You too. And hopefully the fever goes down. And
Yes. We'll have to remember
yes, we're
him
praying.
in prayer.
That's right. We'll remember
Okay.
you in prayer. All right.
In Jesus'
Have a
name.
great one,
Amen.
gang.
All right. Ciao,
Amen.
Bellas and
Ciao.
Bellos.
Ave Maria, Maria, rogai por nós, Santa Mãe de Deus.